But he can't get underneath a very good Prestwidge Yorker. That's an excellent over from Jack Prestwidge, only 2 conceded. He has figures of 1 for 11 from 2 overs as the subfielders and the coaches come onto the field with drinks. The players going to go into consultation and take a bit of refreshment. Abhishek, just before you leave us for a few overs, the strikers 82 for 1 after 10. Phil Salt 43 from 28. Carey struggling to get going 5 from 9, but the home side, having won the toss and elected to bat, they'll be pretty happy with their start.
They will be very happy with the start, but what Alex Carey here needs to be a bit aware of, that he can't chew up too many deliveries. That's going to put a lot of pressure on Phil Salt. All he wants to do here is just take 1s and 2s. Once he starts hitting a few ball off the middle, he'll get going, he'll get a few boundaries as well. But looking at him at the moment, it looks like he's trying too hard to get boundaries rather than just rotating the strike. And if you have somebody like Phil Salt who's striking the ball so well on the other side, you might as well try and take a single and bring him on strike. But apart from that, things are looking pretty good for the Adelaide strikers, and they're looking well settled after the first 10 overs.
Thanks, Abhishek. It's live commentary of the Big Bash League on BBC Radio 5 Live Sports Extra, the BBC Sport website and the BBC Sounds app. Adelaide Strikers versus Melbourne Renegades. Tomorrow at this time you can hear Perth Scorchers versus Sydney Thunder. And tonight on 5 Live Sports Extra you can hear continuing coverage of Australia versus India in the 3rd test in Sydney. In Adelaide, the Strikers won the toss and elected to bat. They are 82 for 1 after 10 overs. Matt Renshaw for 30, the man to go. Phil Salt, the Sussex opener, remains 43 not out from 28 deliveries in the company of Alex Carey, 5 from 9. My name is Stefan Schemmelt, and Simon Mann will pick up the commentary.
Thanks, Stefan. Other cricket being played around the world today as well. Ireland are playing a one-day international in Abu Dhabi against the UAE. They're 181 for 4 after 39 overs. Paul Sterling 84 not out from 113 balls. If you missed the test score, Australia 338, and in reply India 96 for 2 at the close of play. Steve Smith, his 27th test 100, run out for 131 by Ravi Jadeja, who picked up 4 wickets. Nathan Lyon yet to take a wicket in India's innings. Both wickets have gone to pace so far. Shubman Gill pressing, making 50. 82 for 1 then after 10 overs, with Salt on 43 and Carey there on 5. Imad Wasim in his sunglasses is going to bowl his 3rd over and the 11th of the innings, and he moves in now and bowls to Salt. Salt goes back, tries to force that into the offside. The bowler dives away to his left, frustrated with himself there because he didn't stop it. Goes up to long off, and they're through for a single. 83 for 1. Start of the 11th over. The X Factor has not been activated by either team. I know you had a theory, Stefan, early in the competition that teams wouldn't use their X Factor players. I mean, generally speaking, you've been right as well, because teams have not used them for all sorts of reasons. And they might have a look at that again at the end of the competition. Here's Imad Wasim bowling, and Carey goes down on one knee and helps that, scoops it into the leg side, down towards the fine leg boundary, and that has gone away for 4 runs. Carey at last being able to break free. He's 9 from 10 now. Very well helped on its way, improvising. Ball going across him from left arm round the wicket to the left-hander. Sort of shot you most players, a youngster really, and out on the green, experimenting.
It was premeditated, and it looked like Imad basically gave Carey the perfect delivery for a premeditated stroke, and sure to help it along the way.
Imad bowls, guided away by Carey into the offside, down towards deep cover. The blue-booted Nabi sends in the return. Almost feels like Nabi should be playing for the Strikers with their blue kit, but he's contrasting red and blue. Colourful scene out there in the sunshine. Lovely warm evening in Adelaide, and the Strikers going well, putting the pressure on the Renegades again. That 1 win so far. 88 for 1 in the 11th. Imad bowls, Salt plays it away into the offside, uppishly, out towards deep cover, goes through for another single, takes him to 45, and a score to 89 for 1. One of my theories about not using the X, I have 2 theories. One is that if you think it was a football match, you wouldn't if you had to make a substitution after 38 minutes, then you probably wouldn't. Here is Imad Wasim bowling to Carey, goes back and plays out towards deep mid wicket, and there's 1 more run to the total. It's that very specific time. You can only make the change after 10 overs of the match. And the other one is that some of the squads have not really been strong enough to use an X-Factor player. You can imagine in the IPL, you definitely would use an X-Factor player on occasions. You've got those strong players to come in, but some of the squads have been a bit weakened by all sorts of factors. Salt goes back, plays it into the onside up towards long on. They're looking at 2 there. They decide against it. They probably could have got there actually. The throw had too much on it. And the wicketkeeper Sam Harper was back-pedalling, eventually stuck a paw up and took it, but they probably could have got 2 there, but they weren't to know the throw was going to be so wild. Carey 11, Salt on 46. Strikers are 91 for 1 after 11 overs. Renegades bottom of the table with 5 points. Strikers have 17 points. If they get the 4 points today, they can go level with the Sixers in second place. That's what upper and middle table is congested, and the poor old Renegades are very much on their own at the bottom of the table.
It's not the point about the X-Factor substitutes. I mean, I'd say, I'm honest enough to say I was one of the people who was very sniffy about the innovations brought into the Big Bash this year. But I think the power surge has proven to be a success. I like the Bash boost, but I don't think there's enough difference between being better after 10 overs and actually winning the game. I think maybe win the game, you get 4 and you're 1 point for the Bash boost, but I understand the argument against that because you want to encourage teams to go for it. And on the X-Factor sub, I just wonder if it'd be used more widely if you could play it whenever you wanted to, and that would also be more exciting too.
I think it definitely would be used more often if you could use it when you wanted to, definitely. Nabby bowls, clipped away by Salt towards deep square legs, picked up in the deep by number 3, who is Mackenzie Harvey. Sent in the return, they're back for 2 runs. Salt to 48 with those 2 runs, 93 for 1. I was thinking about the point system, Steph. If you really wanted to ramp it up, make that halfway point even more fascinating, you actually give 2 points and 4 points for a win. Here is Nabby bowling. Salt turns that away towards deep forward square leg, and again there is Harvey in action on the boundary. This time he keeps it to a single. Salt just goes to 49. He's 1 away from that half century. He's looking for it there, couldn't quite complete it. 94 for 1 in the 11th over. Anyway, you could fiddle around with it, you could do all sorts of things. Because we've seen games where sides haven't really, they've been in contention for the Bash boost point, but they've decided, oh, it's not enough to just go for 1 point and risk losing a wicket that might scupper our chances of getting the 3 points. That happened in a game the other day where it was 3 off the last ball and they didn't go for it. Decided it wasn't worth the risk. Carey goes back to Nabby and crushes that through the offside, and it's gone away for 4. And Peter Siddle shows a bit of mercy towards the Renegades fielders. He picks the ball off the rope and lobs it back, coming out of the Adelaide strikers dugout. 4 to Carey.
That's like club cricket. Siddle hasn't even bothered to have his boots on at the moment, just wandering around in his socks.
98 for 1 after 11.3. Carey drags that into the onside for 1 run. Well, if that's the case, it won't be long before the Adelaide strikers fielders are just walking around the boundary, having a chat, drinking coffee.
Playing bowls.
Yeah, with the cricket ball. 99 for 1 in the 12th. Now Salt is on strike on 49. He's made 1 half century so far. Is it going to be 2? Yes, it is. He makes sure of it, nudging Nabby into the leg side, out towards deep mid wicket. There's a fumble out there from Harvey. Salt has to settle for 1. 50 from 34 balls for Phil Salt. Second half century this season's Big Bash. And he also brings up the strikers 100. 100 for 1. Coming to the end of the 12th over. Nabby round the wicket, goes in, bowls to Carey. Carey pushes that into the offside, but straight to cover, and the throw comes in, hits the stumps. Carey goes back, his appeal for a run out. They're just going to check this. It's one of those that came out of the shadows into the sunshine. Just the pitch at the moment is in the sunshine. The shadow on the right side, and the offside as Carey played that. Let's have a look. I think this is okay, but it was one of those where he didn't slide his bat, he sort of dabbed it down. I think he's going to be okay there, Carey.
That's what made it look closer than it should have been. He put his bat down over the line and then slid it instead of sliding it from a distance.
He's not out, but he's a lucky boy. Alex Carey. He could easily have preserved his wicket in a far more straightforward manner there. He risked being dismissed by tapping it down. And he got it down over the line just in time. Salt 34 balls for his 50 then, 3 sixes and 2 4s for Phil Salt this evening at the Adelaide Oval, sunlit Adelaide Oval. This is what Big Bash was created for. Those sunny, warm evenings in Australia, perfect for spectators to come after work and enjoy some cricket in nice, warm, pleasant evening conditions. That's the 1 wicket to go so far. That was Renshaw out for 30. Noor Ahmed begins a new over, bowls to Salt, who comes forward and can't manoeuvre that into a gap on the onside, hits it back to the bowler who picks up, and there is no run. So start of the 13th over, the striker's innings. Salt on 50. Noor Ahmed with his left arm wrist spinners goes in over the wicket, bowls short outside the off stump, clubbed away towards deep extra cover. Look at 2. Strange dimensions of this ground at the Adelaide Oval. Very long straight boundaries, short square boundaries. Always easy to work out what you can get in terms of running, turn 1s into 2s or 2s into 3s. Just a single there. Finch's come across to have a chat with his bowler.
The Adelaide Oval's a bit like someone stretched an elastic band. Started out as almost a perfect circle. You stretch it, one end goes longer but becomes narrower.
It's one of those grounds. I wonder if they could play the other way. I mean, dimensions don't quite suit, but you could almost do it. Here is Noor Ahmed, bowled a short ball to Carey, who tries to swing that away. Doesn't make contact. The ball drops onto the pitch. Might well have gone through to the keeper there as well. Hit him on the chest. Yeah, it did. I think there was a glove on it possibly as well. He went off his gloves into his chest area. Noor Ahmed bowls, takes it off the stumps, Carey, hitting that into the offside, doesn't really time it, goes bobbling out towards short third man. Salt responds though, comes through for the single. Score goes to 102 for 1 in the 13th over. The Renegades are whipping through their overs because they've got so many spinners. The game started late though because play overran in the SCG. Long day for the players today, making up time from yesterday. Noor Ahmed bowls outside the off stump, short, dragged away by Salt towards deep mid wicket. Go through for a single. Yeah, the fielders at the moment. Salt, well, both and Carey as well. Noor Ahmed 0 for 27 coming to the end of his 3rd over, and you can see he went 10 off his first 2 balls. He has dragged it back. Bowling now to the left-handed Alex Carey. They're on 17 from 17 balls. Ahmed bowls very wide of off stump. Carey, if he'd left that, would have got a wide, but he elected to play it and dragged it up towards long on. There's a fumble in the deep. Again, they look at 2 as a result of it. But if they had come through, there would have been a run out because the throw was good ultimately. End of 13 overs then for the strikers. 101 for 4. Carey has 18. Salt on 52. So 3 overs to 28. And the Afghan left arm wrist spinner, the teenager.
Went through some scores earlier on, Simon. Cricket going on around the world. There's one other score we should mention as well. That's that Team Root in Sri Lanka a little while ago were 147 for 2 against Team Butler. This is England's first internal warm-up game in Hambantota before the first Test match in Galle next week. Wickets to fall: James Bracey for 16 and Zach Crawley for 46. Joe Root's made a half century. Dan Lawrence was 34 not out. Wicket apiece for Dom Bess and Mason Crane.
And Ollie Pope is playing in that match. Basically, they're short numbers, aren't they? He's going to have a bat but not a field. He's recovering from that shoulder operation. Also, a couple of players down, with Chris Wokes isolating, Moeen Ali isolating as well, building up to the first Test against Sri Lanka, which is only 6 days away, starting on the 14th of January in Galle. 104 for 1. 7 overs left of the strikers' innings. Here's Kane Richardson back into the attack. Goes in now and bowls to Carey. Short outside the off stump, and Carey plays an extravagant up and over drive. I think that's gone away for 6. I think it just had enough on it to go over the extra cover boundary. They are short square here. And that was brilliantly manufactured by Carey, dismissing Richardson. Only a bottom hand on the drive through the offside. Wonderful wand-like shot from Alex Carey. Yeah, probably a metre over the rope, that extra cover.
Sort of stroke you see Chris Gale play. Clear the front leg and smite it. You see Alex Carey and Aaron Finch have a conversation. Carey making the sign for the power surge. I don't know if that's officially been called. Finch nodded his head.
Richardson runs into bowl, and then Basham's not quite ready. Umpire David Wilson, Darren Close I should say, just holding him up for a moment. Well, we'll keep an eye on that. I didn't notice whether the surge has been called. It's 110 for 1, start of the 14th over. Carey on strike, Richardson bowls, Carey lifts this out towards the long on boundary, and that's gone over the rope for 6 as well. 2 6s from the first 2 balls of the over. It's a big straight boundary, as we've been mentioning here at the Adelaide Oval. And Carey didn't even seem to hit that. It was almost like a check punched drive in the air. Beautifully struck, all about timing. Wonderful shot. Yeah, he didn't just check the shot, but he knew he timed it so well. Just looking at the field, I'm sure the surge has been taken, Stefan. 116 for 1 in the 14th. Carey on 30. Here's Richardson bowls. It's full, it's driven out towards the long off boundary. Fielder running back, Webster picks it up inside the rope, and they come back for 2 runs. We can confirm the surge has been taken, and there's some logic to it as well. Obviously at the start of the 14th over, both Carey and Salt are in. Seems about the right time to take it. 118 for 1.
7 fielders in the ring for that delivery. Must have been taken. Just seen Alex Carey at the start of the over waving his left hand in a circle, giving a thumbs up towards Aaron Finch. The way Carey's batting as well, it must have been taken. Now there's a conversation between Finch, Carey and the umpire. It's almost like Finch is saying, "Are you sure this has been taken?" Fist pump between Carey and Finch, the 2 captains, the Australia teammates. Carey's the limited overs vice captain as well, isn't he, for Australia?
Cummins. This is bizarre. It's hard to work out what's going on here. The players just stopped for a moment. The 2 captains having a chat. The umpire's getting involved on his walkie-talkie as well. The game has stopped. Well, you can bring in these innovations, but you still need humans to make them work.
I think Finch should be making the point of, look, this has to be the power surge now, because I've had my fielders inside the rope I've had my 7 fielders inside the ring for 3 deliveries. Now the umpire's waving his arms in front of him to signal dead ball, and now he's signalling the power surge.
Well, this is bizarre. So he's signalling the surge midway through the over. Perhaps he's saying, look, I meant to signal it at the start of the over, and this is just to confirm that it has been taken. I mean, it does rely on the umpire calling it and showing clearly with the signals at the start for everybody, for TV audience and for spectators inside the ground, and confirmation for the players as well. Here's Richardson bowling. Carey clatters that away into the offside, but hits the man in the covers. There's no run.
I suspect what's happened there is the 2 captains knew what was going on, but the umpire didn't. And I think that little conversation between Finch and Carey, as Finch was saying, well, look, I've had my 7 fielders in the ring, even though the umpire didn't signal it. And Carey's gone, yeah, fair play, I did tell you I wanted to take the power surge. So the umpires just confirmed it, and those 3 balls that we had before the signal came were still official power surge deliveries.
I think that's well read, Stefan. I think that is a logical conclusion. 118 for 1. This is Richardson moving into bowl outside the offside, very wide of Carey's off stump, and wide enough for umpire Darren Close to spread his arms wide and signal it. He'll be feeling under a bit of pressure, actually, Darren Close. having not signalled the surge at the start of the over. Umpires hate that sort of thing. They like to get things absolutely right.
Because if Carey was feeling particularly unscrupulous, he could have said, well, no, it's not been called. We'll just take those runs that we've scored while you've had your field up, and we'll still take another 2 overs of power surge. Done the sporting thing there, Carey.
Yeah, definitely. And Finch is a good man as well. I mean, they got together and just sorted it out amongst themselves. Carey goes back and slaps it into the onside, and the field is up, of course. Mid-on is up, so that goes bobbling out towards the long-on boundary. That goes away for 4. It's been a slightly ragged over for all sorts of reasons. 6 off the first 2 balls. You've had a wide, you've had a 4, so let's calculate that so far. 6-6-2, wide 4. 19 off the over so far.
On power surge confusion, a similar thing happened to the strikers earlier on in the competition in their game against Hobart, where Hobart thought they'd taken the power surge. It hadn't been officially confirmed. The strikers brought their field up for Peter Siddle to bowl, and he struck with the first delivery of the over, only for the Hurricanes then to be told, no, this wasn't power surge at all. Strikers went on to win that game, and that was the start of a Siddle spell that ended with him taking a 5 for 16, his best T20 figures.
Richardson goes in now to complete the over. Bowls to Carey, who hammers this into the leg side for 6. He's hit that into the crowd. 3rd 6 of the over, and a very expensive one. Whether it was a surge or not, well, it clearly was. But the end of the over, they profited mightily in that over, the strikers. Is that 25 off the over? There were certainly 3 6s in it. And they've really got to move on there, the strikers in that over, thanks to Alex Carey's punishing hitting.
You just wonder what Kane Richardson is thinking. He knew he'd probably be under the microscope tonight after that little altercation with Matt Renshaw, going to the Adelaide Oval, knowing that he'd probably cop some flack maybe from the home spectators. He's just been walloped by Alex Carey, the home captain.
25 off the over. Salt on strike. Imad Wasim, who bowled in the power play earlier, is going to bowl this second over of surge. Field up. We'll talk about the surge, those of you who might be with us for the first time. The fielding restrictions are back in place. Only 2 players outside the circle. First ball, Salt gives himself some room, smashes this down the ground for 4. I mean, he's unrelenting if you've got 2 players in, especially on a ground like this as well, where their short boundary square. It's not easy for the bowlers. Salt, once he got that through, it's always going to be 4. 133 for 1. To get 200 here. Salt goes to the offside this time, tries to take that down leg side, misses it. The bails are off as well to keep. A good piece of keeping actually from Sam Harper. There's a flurry of batsmen in front of him, with the batsman trying to thrash it into the leg side. I think Salt wanted a wide, but he had moved outside the off stumps. Even though it beat the leg stump, he wasn't given the wide. And the upshot is a dot ball. Salt was looking to access that short square boundary. Look at the replay on the stumping possibility. But his feet were in the air for a moment, just for a moment, then he got his feet down. So, although it was a good piece of keeping, Salt was back, swiveled round. Just for a fraction of a second, his feet were in the air. There we are, there's confirmation of the not out decision. That was the reason for the delay. 133 for 1. Start of the 15th over, 4 balls left to the surge, and then 5 more overs. Salt on 56, goes in. Imad Wasim, Salt gives himself some room, hits this high into the air, out towards extra cover, doesn't get all of it. Prestwich runs back from mid-off, out towards deep extra cover, and they come back for 2 runs. So the field up, it's stand and deliver here as far as the batsmen are concerned. Taking this on. Quite free hits, but there's an element of that about it. The field up, Imad goes in, bowls to Salt. Salt gives himself some room. This time picks out the fielder, Kane Richardson, at extra cover, who hurls the ball at the stumps. managed to get home for a single. Salt of 59. So they see Ahmad Wazim over as being not too bad so far. 7 runs from the first 4 balls. He does dart it in, and left arm round the wicket. He is used to bowling in the power play. Finch comes across to have a chat with him. 32 runs off the last 10 balls. Just seeing a replay on that throw at the stumps. Richardson hurling the ball in, he hits the batsman, he hits Salt with his throw. Salt was okay, must have hit a padded bit of Phil Salt. Imad now to the left-handed Carey from round the wicket. Carey drives, he's caught. He miscues it straight to Prestwich at mid-on, and that's the other side of the power play, or the surge, is you feel compelled to play more attacking shots, and it also means that you can hold out, and that's what Carey's done. He's gone for 42. A bit of a gasp from the home supporters there. They wanted to see a bit more of Alex Carey. It's 136 for 2 with 1 ball left of the 15th over, 1 ball left of the surge.
Yeah, a wicket entirely born of the power surge, because that fielder almost certainly wouldn't have been there in normal circumstances. The mid-on would have probably been back at long on. The shot Carey played was almost a left-handed version of the MS Dhoni helicopter. Didn't time it at all. Catch just looped to mid-on. Very simple chance to be taken. I think you were talking about, Simon, about the power surge. If a batting team is going well, they can just keep taking the game away. It can be relentless for the bowling team. The thing that we've often seen with the power surge, and the thing we've talked about, is how if you don't have a very good power play as a batting team, there's still the opportunity to catch up later with those extra 2 overs. I haven't seen it come into play in this circumstance so often, where a team's been going well and they've just kept going away from the fielding side. I've more seen the power surge used as a change in momentum rather than to build on good work already done.
And Jake Weatherald is in at number 4. He's been bumped up ahead of John Wells. Weatherald, of course, formerly open really for the strikers. Pushed down the order with Renshaw going to the top of the order. He's a left-hander. Imad Wazim bowls to him. Imad Wazim gets out of the over very well. 4 off the first ball, but then dot to 1 wicket dot. And he's finished with 4 overs, 1 for 28. And it's 136 for 2. So how many do we reckon came off the surge there? I made it 32. 32 for 1 off the surge. Right, 5 overs left in the innings. You're going to be joined, Stefan, by Abhishek Jujunwala for the last 5 overs.
Yeah, the striker's well placed for a very big total against the struggling Melbourne Renegades. Highest total of this year's Big Bash, Sydney Thunder's 219 for 7. Thunder also hold the second highest total, 209 for 8. They were both made in Canberra. The strikers, their best total, 171 for 5. So they're well on course to pass that. The strikers, who are 4th place in the table with 4 wins and 4 defeats, going well against the Melbourne Renegades, bottom of the pile with only 1 win from their 8 games. It's going to be Peter Hatzoglu, with the field restrictions now relaxed, bowling his leg breaks to Phil Salt, who powers a pull shot and is caught at deep mid-wicket. While Phil Salt, he's used that bottom hand all throughout the match, targeting the leg side. This time it proves his undoing. He goes for 59, a short ball straight to the hands of deep mid-wicket. Peter Hatzoglu strikes, and Adelaide strikers are 136 for 3.
Yes, a big wicket. 2 back-to-back set batsmen back in the hut. And Hatzoglu, that was again an ordinary delivery, a short one. There was enough opportunity for Phil Salt to hit it into the crowd, but just couldn't get enough timing. Very, very good innings. 59 off on a very quick time with a strike rate of 141. But Hatzoglu picking up his first wicket tonight. And 2 new batsmen. This could be good news for Renegades, because 5 overs left with 8 wickets in hand. You would expect a team to get 10 and over from here at least. That takes them to 186. They go past their highest total of this year's competition, which is, as you mentioned, 171. So
Hatsoglu bowls to Weatherall. There's an appeal for LBW. That's pitched outside the leg stump. There's a shy at the non-strikers end as well, and Weatherall would have been miles out. Ryan Gibson is the new man. He was at the non-strikers end for that delivery. He called Weatherall through for a leg bye. The fielder at short third man quickly in at the ball. Weatherall slow to set off. Maybe he was concerned about the LBW shout. By the time Weatherall had set off, there was confusion, a bit of yes, no, and Weatherall would have been miles out had the throw hit. He was barely 2/3 of the way down. As it is, it missed. They're through for a leg bye. Strikers 137 for 3. Like you said, Abhishek, 2 men yet to get off the mark, Weatherall and Gibson. Weatherall could have gone without scoring, but these are the men who made runs against the Renegades a couple of nights ago. Gibson, right-hander, Hatsoglu aborts his run-up. So it means that Jonathan Wells has slid down the order one more place. Weatherall and Gibson both in ahead of him, but they are 2 men in form. Gibson facing his first delivery from Hatsoglu. It's down the leg side, bit of a leading edge. It's just looped over the man at short mid-wicket. If he'd been at the edge of the 30-yard circle, it'd have been a simple catch. That's Will Sutherland, who's on the field as a substitute. We've just seen the LBW shouts. Although Weatherall, the left-hander, was right back on his stumps, I think it was high. Complete confusion. At one point, both batsmen were standing almost next to each other, holding their hands out. This time Hatsoglu down the leg side, Weatherall sweeping for 6. Behind square, he's poor delivery really from Hatsoglu, and Weatherall's just picked it up with a lofted sweep shot, 144 for 3. What a way to get off the mark after you've just nearly been run out.
Yeah, absolutely. But what I want to point out there is there was a clear opportunity for Sutherland, who was standing at covers, to come quickly behind the stumps and take that ball, and it could have been an easy run out, but he didn't make any effort to get behind the stumps. And I think that's what they would he got lucky with Weatherall, but after that was a wonderful shot. You got to say that the ball was pretty poor outside the leg stump, easy pickings, but still you need to hit them.
Hatsoglu in the Melbourne red. Again Weatherall swinging towards the leg side. One bounce to the deep square leg fielder. 145 for 3, the strikers, with one delivery of the 16th over remaining. Abhishek, don't get me started on fielders not getting behind the stumps. It's an absolute massive hate of mine, and it's a really modern phenomenon. Fielders expecting the ball to hit direct, almost relying on it to hit direct. It's something that's gone out of the game, really. Hatsoglu to complete the over. He's bowled him. Ryan Gibson made himself some room outside the leg stump. Hatsoglu followed him. He's a leg spinner in name alone, really. The ball, as it does from Hatsoglu, drifted on, maybe a little bit of extra bounce. It hit Gibson's pad and then cannoned into the leg stump. The promotion up the order has not worked. Gibson goes for 1 from only 2 deliveries. The strikers are 145 for 4. The Renegades have taken 3 wickets in 3 overs.
Yeah, that's why when you're a youngster, you're always told never go outside the leg stump, because you get out to a delivery which on other occasions you can never get out. You can't get out if the ball is outside the leg stump, LBW or ball. But just by moving outside the leg stump, trying to give himself room, he allowed the ball to ricochet onto the stumps after hitting the pads. But we got to give credit to Hatsoglu picking up 2 wickets in this over, and in a small way bringing the Renegades back into the game, because till those 2 wickets fell, it looked like strikers are running away with the game here. But with those 2 wickets, another 4 overs to go, they have an opportunity here to contend the strikers within that 170, 175, which could have been 200.
I said 3 wickets in 3 overs. It's actually 3 wickets in the space of 8 balls.
Yep.
They've taken 3 wickets for 9 runs, the Renegades. The strikers were 136 for 1. They're now 145 for 4 as Jono Wells makes a belated entrance to join Jake Weatherall. Noor Ahmed, the teenage left-arm wrist spinner, to bowl his final over to Weatherall, who angles the ball to short third man, and they scurry through for a single. 146 for 4. So Wells about to face his first delivery, and maybe the Renegades just have a glimmer of hope of restricting the strikers to something manageable by taking those 3 wickets and 8 deliveries.
Absolutely. And here, if they can pick up another wicket or 2 here, I think they can really put pressure on the strikers, the Renegades. Noor Ahmed, it's been expensive so far, 29 of 3.1 overs.
He's bowling to Wells. Wells' first delivery that the right-hander defends back up towards the bowler, and that's what wickets bring. New batsmen having to set themselves, the chance for the Renegades to hurry through some dot balls as the innings moves towards its conclusion. Wells is a short figure, powerfully built. Ahmed bowls well outside the off stump. I think it was the googly that pitched outside off stump and kept going, eventually passing the blue guideline for the umpire. So it's called wide, 147 for 4. As the shadows lengthen in Adelaide, night starting to take hold. Ahmed bowls, Wells misses with a sweep. There's an appeal for LBW, not given. I think that's pitched outside leg stump.
Yeah, we got to have a look at that again.
Hit it, in fact, an under edge onto his front pad.
That definitely hit it. So there was no way the umpire would have raised his finger. Good decision made by him.
Ahmed, angled approach, hurries in, bowls to Wells, who cuts a delivery that's not that wide, goes out to deep point for a single. 148 for 4. I said that night was falling. It's just got darker inside the Adelaide Oval, not because the blue sky has disappeared, it's just because the huge stand square of the wicket cast a massive shadow across the outfield. So that's why the floodlights are needed. Quite dark in the actual playing area.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks pretty dark in the middle.
Ahmed, short dark hair, bowls to Weatherald, who sweeps, falls over. The bails are off. Sam Harper, the wicketkeeper, asks the question, but I don't think Weatherald's foot was ever in the air. He's got himself into a strange old position though. His back foot went from beneath him. He could have twisted his ankle quite badly actually there. He's okay.
Yeah, I think he just couldn't keep his foot planted. It just slid, and probably that's the reason he lost his balance and fell as well. Very lucky that his back leg wasn't raised.
This time it's reverse sweep from Weatherald. Couple of bounces into the rope. Clever shot, because he's got that behind square where there were two fielders but both inside the ring. And once it was over them and away, the man outside, deep cover point, deep cover, had no chance of getting round and cutting off the boundary. So at the end of the 17th over, the strikers 152 for 4, Weatherald 12, John Wells 1. Remember, it was the strikers who elected to bat. Renshaw 30, Phil Salt, the Sussex man, 59 from 42 balls. Alex Carey 42, and Ryan Gibson just 1 the men to go. It's live Big Bash commentary on BBC Radio 5 Live Sports Extra, the BBC Sport website and the BBC Sounds app. Just here at the moment, actually, in the background, the words of Aaron Finch, the Renegades captain, at the start of the game. Remember, the Renegades,
always thinking positive, okay?
They'd lost 7 games on the bounce before tonight. You just hear Finch telling his teammates, think positive. Leg spinner Pete Hartzoglu, 2 wickets in his last over to bowl his 4th and final over. John O'Wells carefully plays this up to long on for a single. Strikers 153 for 4.
It's a bit surprising that we haven't seen Mohammad Nabi bowl much. He just bowled that 1 over. There's 3 more overs left from him. There's definitely a plan from Aaron Finch to give youngsters more opportunity, throw him in the deep end and try and test their character as well.
Hartzoglu whirs into left-handed Weatherald, who handsomely lofts a sweep shot for 6. The man at deep mid-wicket, he was in the right place, but he would have had to been in the stands to catch it. He just watched the ball as it went over his head. Weatherald onto 18 from 8. The strikers move on to 159 for 4.
That was a very good pickup shot again. The ball was in the slot, but very well played by Weatherald. And the head position, the way he held himself at the moment of playing the shot was just brilliant. Pressure back on the bowler. Hartzoglu, 39 so far.
Bowls now to Weatherald. That's short and wide. Weatherald with a flourish. Man in a sword fight. Sends the ball out towards the offside fence. 160 for 4. 3 deliveries into the 18th over, the strikers.
Hartzoglu again being a bit expensive. He's gone for 40 of 3.3 overs, though he has picked up a couple of wickets.
Hartzoglu scurries in. Wells tries a reverse sweep, but this one's down the leg side. taken by the wicketkeeper Sam Harper. No wide called because Wells had shuffled across his stumps. 2 deliveries in the 18th over remaining. Hatsoglu throws a catch to himself, then he's in. That ball keeps coming back towards the right-handed John O'Wells, but he's done very well to late cut it past the man at short third man. Finch, the captain, has the chase. He pulls it in just inside the rope with a slide. Loses one of the 2 caps he's got on his head, but he does prevent the boundary. Strikers move on to 163 for 4 with 1 delivery in the 18th over remaining.
Yeah, very well placed shot by Wells. Didn't try to hit it hard, knew the ball had a bit of pace, was a quicker delivery, just opening the face of the bat, running it through that point and third man region. Picked up an easy 3. Very good fielding by Aaron Finch, but very well played shot by Wells. Good over so far for them. They picked up 11. 1 more delivery to go.
Here's Hatsoglu, it's short. Weatherald trying to pull shot, but he hasn't got all of this, and it's taken by the man running in from the deep mid-wicket boundary. Weatherald was trying to repeat the dose from earlier in the over, where he got a maximum over the leg side. This was more of a pull shot than a sweep shot, no timing whatsoever. It went straight up into the blue sky, and the fielder made good ground off the boundary rope to take the catch sliding on his knees. So Weatherald goes for 19, caught by Jake Fraser McGirt, bowled Hatsoglu. That's Hatsoglu's 3rd wicket. He ends with 3 for 43, and the strikers are 163 for 5 with 2 overs remaining.
Yeah, just a bit over ambitious there, Weatherald. Though he was striking the ball pretty well, that ball wasn't that short as he expected it, and then skidded onto him. That's why he couldn't get under it, didn't get any elevation to get it up and over. He did get a height, but not the distance. And Rashid Khan walks in. What a player he is. What a T20 player he is. Phenomenal batsman. He's got an ability of great ball striking as well. He can hit some big sixes. That's exactly what the strikers would expect from him. And if you look at his strike rate, 156 career strike rate. So he can hit the ball.
Is number 7 the right place for Rashid Khan, Abhishek, or is he 1 too high there?
I think he's 1 too high, probably number 8, yes. But when you have somebody like him, you might as well throw him into the deep end and expect him to come out on top. And we've seen him play some brilliant innings over the years. When he gets going, he can really hurt the bowling side.
Jack Prestwich, 1 for 11 from his 2 overs so far. He bowls to Wells, forces out towards deep points for 4. That's brilliantly timed. There is a man out there, the subfielder Will Sutherland, and Wells has timed it so well that Sutherland was never really in the race. Score moves on to 167 for 5. Wells has 9 from 7.
Yeah, he did time it beautifully, but just at the very end, you see him just opening the face ever so slightly. He knew exactly where the deep cover was, and he knew exactly where to place it. Just opening the face at the end and finding that gap to perfection here. Wells looking good.
Prestwich got a white towel tucked in the back of his red trousers. He bowls to Wells, slower ball. Wells wristily clips out towards deep square leg. They'll just take a single. Score moves on to 168 for 5. Will Sutherland, the sub-fielder, is on the pitch. It's not entirely clear who he's on for. What we do know is no X-Factor substitutes were executed by either side. Sutherland was one of the X-Factor subs for the Renegades, along with Josh Layla. Maybe it is Mohamed Nabi that's off the field, having only bowled 1 over. I don't recall seeing him for some time.
Probably that's the reason he's not bowling either. Probably got a little niggle.
Rashid Khan facing his first delivery. He's pulling the ball aerially. It's gone straight up into the night sky. There's 2 fielders underneath it. One takes the catch at deep mid-wicket. Rashid Khan goes first ball, and Jack Prestwich has his 2nd wicket. Rashid went deep in his crease. There was a big flourish of the bat as the ball went in to the evening sky, and it landed safely in the hands of the deep mid-wicket fielder. So Rashid Khan goes for a duck. The strikers are 168 for 6 with 9 deliveries remaining.
Yeah, he looked a bit surprised at how that didn't manage to get outside the rope. But as we saw, when he hit that ball, the ball hitting just the splice of the bat, didn't get the middle of it. Still managed to carry all the way through, just probably a meter or 2 short. Rashid Khan trying to go for that big shot, very first delivery, out for a duck. And Prestwich picking up his second wicket. He's bowled pretty well today. He's only gone for 16 of 2.3 overs. Strikers lost their 6 wickets with 168 on board. 9 more deliveries to go in this innings. If they can get another 15 or 20, will be a very, very good total for the Renegades to come out there and chase. Stefan?
Danny Briggs is the new man, another Sussex connection. He's at the non-strikers end as Prestwich bowls to Wells, who goes across his stumps. Prestwich follows him and the ball is outside the blue guideline for the umpires, but still called wide, and Prestwich thinks that's harsh. 169 for 6.
Yeah, was again trying to use his change-ups. He's been phenomenal today with his execution and the way he has bowled the slow balls, those bouncers. He's used them perfectly. He's got great skills.
He's not going to get through his 4 overs, Abhishek, which is surprising considering how well he's bowled. It's been the pick for me. He bowls now again to Wells. This is outside the off stump, and Wells finds the man at deep point, the big blonde-haired figure of Will Sutherland, the sub-fielder. 170 for 6. As Danny Briggs, the former Sussex spinner, now signed for Warwickshire, is ready to face his first ball. 170 for 6 the strikers, 8 deliveries remaining.
Yeah, it's a bit surprising that he's only bowling is going to bowl 3 overs, as there's only 1 over left after this. But I somehow felt that Aaron Finch had a very clear mind that he's going to try and give the spinners a proper go and see what they come back with. He wanted to give his youngsters those 3 or 4 overs, try and test their character as well.
Jack Prestwich stomps in towards Danny Briggs, who from his first ball rather ambitiously tries a scoop. Then there's a single through to the wicketkeeper. Briggs would have been well short. It was the keeper who threw the ball. Wells was safe at the striker's end. Briggs miles out really, but the throw missed and they get through for, I don't know if it's called leg bite. In fact, he's given us runs. Must have come off Briggs' glove. 171 for 6.
Yeah, and again, no real effort from the bowler to come back to the bowling end and try and take the ball from the wicketkeeper. It was a bit too late.
Just on that point of the spinners, Abhishek, maybe Finch was determined to bowl them. Imad Razoom 1 to 28, fair enough. Hatsoglu's gone for 43, Ahmed 35. Prestwich bowls outside the off stump, slashed powerfully by Wells up to the deep point fielder. A single to complete the 19th overs. The strikers 172 for 6 with 1 to go. Wells has 12, Briggs has 1, and Jack Prestwich, the seam bowler, finishes with excellent figures of 2 for 20 from his 3 overs.
Yeah, he's bowled a brilliant spell, picking up 2 very important wickets and just going for 20 runs off his 3 overs. And it's the last over. It's going to be Richardson, who's been a bit expensive today. He's gone for 35 of his 3 overs. A bit surprising to see him bowling 4 overs and not Prestwich. It's just that sometimes as a captain you have so many different things to think about in the field. You miscalculate your numbers and you don't get the right bowlers from the right end, and sometimes you can't get 4 overs of your some of the bowlers you would probably want to, and that's exactly what we see today happening with Prestwich. Otherwise you would expect him to bowl 4 overs the way he has bowled today, only gone for 20, picking up 2 wickets. But the last over he's trusting his most experienced bowler, Richardson.
Here is Kane Richardson bowling to Wells. He hammers the ball up to mid-off and takes a single. The strikers move on to 173 for 6, 5 deliveries remaining. Just to bring you up to date with some cricket going on around the world, overnight in the 3rd test between Australia and India, Australia were bowled out for 338, a century for Steve Smith. India closed day 2 on 96 for 2. You can hear full commentary of the 3rd day on 5 Live Sports Extra tonight. England have begun their preparations for the test series in Sri Lanka. Richardson, dark hair, number 55 to Danny Briggs, Yorker that Briggs digs out towards cover. Strikers take a single, 174 for 6. England playing an internal warm-up match in Hambantota. Team route 184 for 2. Innings closed after 50 overs. Joe Root 74 not out, Dan Lawrence 46 not out, James Bracey made 16 and Zach Crawley 46. A wicket apiece for spinners Don Bess and Mason Crane. The team led by Joss Butler will now bat for 50 overs. Subject to the weather in Hambantota, that game was supposed to be 2 days, but the reason that each team is batting for 50 overs on this first day is because they're slightly concerned about the weather forecast tomorrow. Here comes Richardson bowling to John O'Wells. Short ball that Wells leans back, angles towards deep points. There's work for the fielder to do, moving towards his left, so the batsmen are able to come back for a couple. The strikers are 176 for 6 with 3 deliveries remaining, and this actually represents something of a fight back from the Melbourne Renegades, who look like they may be facing a total much larger than this at one point. Nevertheless, it's still the strikers' biggest total of this year's Big Bash League.
Yeah, still a very good total, 176 and 3 more deliveries to go. If they can pick up another couple of boundaries in the last 3 balls, they can still get to the 185.
Richardson, sleeve tattoo on his left arm, bowls to Wells, who again is finding the man at deep points. This time it'll only be a single. So this is a good last over so far from Richardson. Only 4 runs conceded from 3 balls. 4 balls, start again. 5 runs conceded from 4 balls so far. 2 deliveries remaining. The Renegades, they'll still feel like they're in with a chance, but their batting is depleted. They're without Sean Marsh, their leading run scorer this season. He's absent after the birth of his 3rd child. And also Riley Rousseau, the South Africa batsman who has a hamstring injury. Richardson, dark hair, he's got a headband in it. Bowls to Briggs, slower ball, completely confuses Briggs. Swings, gets nothing, it's through to the wicketkeeper, and they don't attempt to run the bye. Dot ball, 1 delivery remaining, 177 for 6.
Yeah, again, a very good delivery. Good change-up, slow ball, back of the hand. The batsman just didn't pick it up. 5 runs of the 5 balls so far. Very good last over from Richardson. Still there's job. Needs to be done, the final delivery, how often we mention it, how important that is. If you go for a boundary or a 6, that ruins the good over. But strikers would be a bit disappointed. At some point they would be looking at 200, but it's 177.
Final ball from Richardson. Briggs drives and is caught at mid-off by the tumbling Mohamed Nabi. So that's an excellent last over for the Adelaide strikers. Briggs trying to drive a full ball, no timing whatsoever, and the catch looped to Nabi, who took a couple of paces to his left to take a tumbling catch. So the Adelaide strikers finish on 177 for 7. It means the Melbourne Renegades will need 178 to win. That's a good total from the Adelaide strikers, Abhishek Junjunwala. But the Renegades, it could have been much worse from their point of view.
Oh, absolutely, and they would definitely fancy themselves coming out and trying to chase that 177. It could easily have been 200. And they've done well in the last 3 or 4 overs to pull things back. They got quite a few wickets to stop Adelaide strikers from running away with this game and getting to that total of 200, maybe 210 even at one point, the positions they were in. But still, we know how badly they've struggled with their batting, the Renegades. It'll all depend how Aaron Finch bats for the Renegades.
Jake Weatherald made 19, Ryan Gibson 1, John O'Wells not out 16, Rashid Khan was out first ball, and Danny Briggs, we're fairly certain, was caught off the final ball of the innings for 2. We'll just wait for confirmation of that, but we think that the strikers have totalled 177 for 7. The bowling figures: Imad Wasim 4 overs, 1 for 28. Kane Richardson 4 overs, we think 1 for 40. We're still waiting for confirmation of that final delivery. Peter Hatsoglu, the leg spinner, was expensive, went for 43 but took 3 wickets. Noor Ahmed, the teenage left arm spinner, 4 overs, no wicket for 35. Jack Prestwich, the seamer, pick of the bowlers, 3 overs, 2 for 20. And Mohamed Nabi, the Afghanistan all-rounder, just the 1 over, where he conceded 9 runs. Now, coming up in the interval, we're going to hear from a series of Test Match Special podcasts focusing on some of TMS's friends from around the world. Jonathan Agnew has been catching up with a number of commentators in a special series. Well, on this occasion, we're going to head to the West Indies and specifically Trinidad to hear from Fazir Mohammed, who has seen some amazing moments in Caribbean cricket and is responsible for one of the most iconic pieces of commentary from the last 10 years.
Got him! Why did he do that? Unbelievable! Yasir Shah wins the match wins the series for the first time for Pakistan.
Poor old Gabriel, Fazir. Lovely to have you with us. That was just, I could listen to that. It's like people saying about me and the Lego rule, I could listen to that forever. I could listen to that forever because the pain, the torture, and yet it's so funny at the same time.
Indeed, is Agas. You know, it's great to be with you once again. But yeah, I mean, this thing has taken a life of its own. As much as I would wish that it didn't happen that way, and Paul, Shannon, Gabriel has to be reminded about it over and over again. But yeah, it's something that he certainly remember.
Has he heard it? Have you talked to him about it?
No, I haven't. I'm not brave enough to. Although he's a pretty gentle giant, I would never think of even approaching him on that particular issue, but I understand he took it pretty badly, which you could understand. But as I said, he's moved on from that, and I think one of these days when we're two grey beards and so on, I'll probably ask him the question. Maybe after a fantastic spell of bowling, when he's cleaned up somebody, who knows? When next England are in the Caribbean, and then I'll ask him the question.
Yeah, well, he's a fellow Trini anyway, isn't he?
He is, but that doesn't say a lot, depending on how things go. Because the relationship between commentators, broadcasters, journalists, and players at times isn't always the best. But in fairness to him, he's always been pretty easygoing when he's approached.
Yeah, sure. What was going through your mind then? I mean, I mentioned the torture and the pain. I mean, it was, if people haven't seen it, it was an utterly appalling shot. I mean, you set the scene. It was, 2 balls to go or something to save the game or something ridiculous?
It was actually the last ball of the penultimate over, because it was the last ball to be bowled by Yashdev Shah in the series. And at the other end, you've got Roston Chase on 100. So essentially, it was surviving that one delivery and let Roston Chase play out for a draw. And well, we know what happened.
He had a massive swipe. That's what happened, didn't he?
Yeah, and I suppose you've got that instinctive reaction. Why did he do that? But then you've got to remember you're a broadcaster for the entire world, not just the West Indies. And I think it's about pausing to capture the moment properly and ensure that it doesn't come around as just some jingoistic sort of issue and you're all about the West Indies and so on. And I think that has always been something that I've tried my best to do, whether radio, television, or in writing or whatever it is, more or less taking a page out of the massive book of Tony Cozier and try to be as professional as possible.
I wonder what he might have said. He wouldn't just have said bowled him, would he?
Probably, and he might have said something, oh my word, or maybe something along that line, maybe far more cultured than what I would have offered.
Yeah, but you're a colourful nation over there, Fazir. You're very emotional in the way that everyone in the Caribbean supports and loves cricket. It's good to get a bit of emotion out there.
I think it is, and I think one of the good things of being from the Caribbean is the contrast, and I think that's the beauty of being involved as a broadcaster in different parts of the world or right here in the Caribbean when other nations come visiting, because you hear the contrast of the voices, not just the accents, but the styles, that it presents a different perspective, different pictures. And yes, we're very excitable, we're very noisy, we're up and down, very emotional about things. I just think it adds to the flavor of the entire experience, because I don't think by any stretch of the imagination we'd all want everyone to sound the same way, whatever part of the world you're in.
Yeah, I think if I'd heard that with sort of no accent, I think I'd probably have gone for a Caribbean commentator, though, because you do have that passion and you do let yourselves go and you do have that colour that maybe some of us over here are a bit more restrained, perhaps. I don't know. But that's the way you play your cricket.
Indeed it is. And the interesting thing about it is that when I actually first started getting involved in commentary, I was criticized quite a bit for going on too much about mango trees and birds and Saturday morning markets and so on. And I said, well, hang on. When you hear Henry Blofeld going about the red bus going down the Harleford Road and say, oh, that's absolutely lovely to hear Henry going on about butterflies and whatever. I say, what about us? So, it's always that contrast. And indeed, TMS has been the standard for us in the Caribbean for such a long time that you're always measured by that. Sometimes a bit unfairly, but that just goes with the territory.
Yeah, it's a very good point you make. I mean, there is so much colour about watching a cricket match in the Caribbean, isn't it? I mean, at your own Queen's Park, although I've not been there for a while, I seem to have avoided it for some reason, but the candy floss salesman and the fella blowing his conch shell and all of that, I mean, that's such a part. It's a wonderful place to commentate.
It is, and I think that really is the luxury we enjoy as commentators, broadcasters in this particular sport. It might not be the same for T20 or one-day internationals because it's all a bit rushed. But when you're in a test match or a first-class match and the game is just meandering along, well, that's it. The world is your stage. You can talk about everything on the face of the earth. You can talk about the nuts vendors not doing a particularly good trade because there aren't many spectators around. You can talk about the flavor of the snow cone today is the guava syrup giving you the real flavor of the guava that you'd like. So it is about painting that picture and creating not just this image, but the smell and the taste and the sounds of Caribbean cricket.
You're taking me there. The pumpkin soup. Oh, you do. Anyway, you got me drooling. How did you get into it all, Fazzy? I mean, were you a cricketer?
I tried to be. I grew up in a cricketing family. My father was absolutely nuts about the game. And inevitably, I grew up in the game because I was a scorer at his club and would be really following the game intensely from that point onwards. And even though I'm a natural right-hander, I grew up learning the game left-handed, bowling left-handed, batting left-handed, because my dad was a natural left-hander. Okay. So it created some pretty weird situations where people would see me chasing after the ball and throwing it in right-handed, thinking I was ambidextrous, but it was only because I'm a natural right-hander, but bowled left-handed and so on. But yeah, I grew up in the game. I had aspirations, of course, of playing for Trinidad and Tobago at the highest level, hopefully playing for the West Indies. I had my dreams and I had my thoughts of being the next great left-arm spinner to come out of Trinidad and Tobago. Never happened. I wasn't good enough. I made it into the national under-19 team for the West Indies tournament of 1983, just for one match. And that was it. And essentially, I pottered about a bit as far as my academic career. I messed up my A-levels, having earlier messed up my O-levels. And from that point onwards, I think I recognized I wanted to be involved in sport. And that's why, because of my background in the game, I got my first opportunities doing radio commentary when I joined one of the local radio stations. And things developed from that point onwards.
Sounds very familiar about the exams failing due to playing cricket and so on. I wonder, do you think you'd have been a better bowler if your dad had let you bowl right arm then?
I might have been, but I just don't think I had the instinct to really. I didn't have that competitive edge. I didn't have that self-belief. And in fact, as we're talking about it, I'm reminded that for that first series of 1983, where we played the West Indies Youth Tournament in Jamaica, for the first match against the Windward Islands, I wasn't picked in the final 11. And I breathed a sigh of relief, whereas someone else who was left out was bitter about it, about being left out. And I kind of recognized over the years that I really didn't have that competitive drive that would have seen me be successful. And it's just the way it is. I don't think I had what it takes to be a top-level international cricketer by any stretch of the imagination.
And you can hear the whole of that interview on BBC Sounds, Fazia Mohammed in conversation with Jonathan Agnew. There's also a couple of other podcasts as well. Jim Maxwell features on one of them. They are well worth listening to. Prakash Wakanka is on another as well, our Indian overseas commentator. We're in the interval at the Adelaide Oval. In the latest match in this season's Big Bash. We're just sort of moving past the halfway stage of the competition now. The knockout stages happen at the end of January, with the final on the 6th of February. And the top 5 qualify. And if you do finish in 5th place, you do sneak in 5th place, you have to win 4 more matches to win the tournament. So that's a big struggle to do that, really. End up playing 18 T20 matches. So the Adelaide Strikers have finished on 177 for 7. There was some confusion at the end there about whether the catch was taken at the end. It was by Mohammed Nabi, but our television colleagues added the run and didn't give the wicket. So 177 for 7. They need 178 for 3 points and 83 for 1 point, the Melbourne Renegades. And judging on what we've seen so far from them, it's going to be a pretty difficult task for them. But they do have the players. Aaron Finch, for example, could come out and play really well and inspire his side to what will only be their second victory. But at the moment, well, the game is closely following the one that was played on this ground between these two sides on Tuesday. 171 for 5, the Adelaide Strikers on Tuesday. 177 for 7 today, and the Renegades were bowled out for 111 in that match on Tuesday. So there's the challenge for them to, be competitive, really. I mean, they haven't been in this competition so far. They've lost 7 matches in a row. And the Adelaide Strikers, with those 177 on the board, will feel reasonably confident. I feel they should have scored a few more. They were 136 for 1 at one stage, with Carey and Salt going well. They still had 5 overs to go, so they did fall away a little bit, and who knows, it may well cost them. And it's one of those situations, probably, in the Big Bash, that if you play against the Renegades, you almost see that as your banker match. And if you lose them, then it is a setback, and it's tight in the middle part of the table. So the Strikers will be absolutely desperate to keep the Renegades down. Finch, Harvey, Harper, Fraser McGurk, Webster, Nabby, the top order for the Melbourne Renegades. What sort of percentage chance, Abhishek, would you give the Renegades of chasing this down? What's your feeling?
It'll all depend how they bat in the first 4 overs and how well Aaron Finch bats, really, because with 177 it's still a very good total. It's still a big total for them to chase. Even in the last match when they played each other a few days back, it was pretty much same sort of a total, 171, and they got bundled out for 111. So it all depends how they start. But yes, they did manage to restrict them where they could have easily got 200. They managed to restrict them to 177 and gave themselves a little bit of chance here.
Just a reminder of the score from the SCG after the 2 days of the third test between Australia and India. Australia 338 and India 96 for 2 in reply. It was a collapse from Australia. They were past 200 with only 2 down. 100 from Smith, 91 from Labuschagne, 4 wickets from Jadeja. They also ran out Smith as well. And then India responding solidly. They haven't scored particularly quickly. It was a good opening partnership, and then Sharma and Shubman Gill went in quick succession. They hung on until the close. So the Renegades about to begin their innings under the lights in Adelaide. Kenzie Harvey is out there opening up, and it's going to be Harry Conway, the 13, on the back of his light blue shirt to bowl the first ball of the innings. Conway so far, let's have a look at him in this season's Big Bash. He's only played the 1 match, 1 for 19. Here he goes. First ball is right on target. It's pushed back by Harvey back to the bowl, and there's no run. Aaron Finch at the non-strikers end. Finch's last 2 dismissals in the Big Bash, run out backing up and caught down the leg side. So obviously feels he deserves a change of fortune.
He wasn't happy in the previous game when he got out, but today is another day and another opportunity.
Conway goes in, right arm over the wicket to the left-handed Harvey. Harvey dabs it into the offside. They've got a slip in, it's just short of him. Comes tumbling in to pick it up. Phil Salt cannot prevent the single, so Harvey is underway. The Renegades 1 for no wicket. Pursuit of 178 to win the match.
Great T20 record for Aaron Finch, 71 matches in the BBL, over 2,300 runs, average of 36, and a lovely strike rate as well of 136, highest score of 111. That's exactly, they will need all of that if they want to win this game, Renegades, for him to get his best ever total, 111 in the Big Bash, and with a decent strike rate as well.
Highest score this season, 39 only. Conway goes into bowl to him. He's struck on the pad, high up, goes ballooning away into the offside. Picked up a backward point by Rashid Khan, and there is no run.
That has always been the story of Aaron Finch, isn't it? If he's out of form, he doesn't get runs for a long period of time. But when he's scoring runs, he'll keep scoring. He's so consistent. And that's what frustrates a lot of people as well around the world, that how can you be in form? He was in form with when India was touring like a month back. In the 1 days, he batted so well.
Did Conway bowling to Finch. The ball balloons in the air down the leg side. Carey goes away to his left and taking the crowd think it's a catch. But I think it's very clearly gone into the ground before it's gone out to the wicketkeeper Carey away to his left-hand side.
Very strange. The ball just ballooned up to the keeper. Very good catch from Carey, diving to his left.
It's come off the thigh pad. Yeah, it's come off the thigh pad, isn't it? Here's Conway bowling to Finch. And Finch looks to glance. There's an appeal for a catch down the leg side. This is the other. Just actually a replay, seeing a replay of the other evening. Here's Conway goes in and bowls to Finch, and Finch gets the ball outside the off stump, which he pulls away towards deep mid wicket, and he's off the mark. Gibson chases it back and they're through for 2 runs.
For a minute we thought he got out again, playing the same shot in the same fashion.
Same
like
bowler,
the previous one.
same situation.
But we were watching a replay of the previous game. But Aaron Finch off the mark in this match, just pulling that ball, a short arm jab through mid wicket for a couple of runs will give him a bit of confidence.
This is Conway moving into bowl to Finch with a slip in. Finch comes across his stumps and plays that quietly up towards mid-on, picked up by Ryan Gibson, who chased that previous delivery out to the mid-wicket boundary to keep Finch down to 2. So tidy first over from Conway, 3 off it, 3 for no wicket after the first over. Pursuit of 178 to win and 83 for 1 point. I mean, the Renegades are in a situation now really where they need to take every point that they can possibly get to try to qualify as they can. It's going to be very hard. And one of their problems, Abhishek, is the fact that they played all their games away from home. Yep. And when they play in that ground under the roof in Marvel Stadium, the pitch is a bit grabby. It doesn't come on. I think they're used to playing there, and they know they like those conditions. It works for them.
It's a bit like Chennai, not playing in Chennai.
Absolutely.
It's pretty much the same way. Whenever they play in Chennai, it's hard to beat them. But whenever they are travelling, they always find it a bit difficult. The same with the Renegades.
Here's Siddle bowling to Mackenzie Harvey. Harvey runs it down to third man and takes the single. So first run off Peter Siddle. 4 for no wicket at the start of the second over. 3 times the Renegades have failed to reach 100. They've started with 9 away matches, and their opening home game is on the 14th of January against Brisbane Heat inside the called the Docklands Stadium, the Marvel Stadium, under the roof in Melbourne, which is an interesting experience. It does feel odd playing cricket indoors, but of course the great thing is you know the cricket's going to take place.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here is Siddle bowling to Finch. Finch turns it back with a square on the onside for a single. Finch moves to 3. The Renegades to 5 for no wicket in the second over. Michael Klinger, the Renegades coach, is under pressure. Second year of a 2-year contract, and I think it's fair to say it hasn't gone particularly well either year. So it rather depends on what happens in his last 5 or 6 games.
It's always difficult as a coach because I always feel as a coach you can always do so much.
Siddle bowls to Harvey, the left-hander, dabbed away down towards a short third man, backward point. They go through for a single.
But also it also depends a lot how the captain is performing, how he's managing the players, and how the players are performing in the middle, because you can do all the preparation and everything before the game, but once they are in the middle, it's out of your hand as a coach. So it's a bit unfortunate that yes, the team is not doing well, and the first person who get the axe is always the coach or the captain. That's been the story.
Siddle bowls, Finch drives straight to mid-off. There's no run. Picked up by Briggs. Got injuries as well. Rousseau's out with a hamstring injury. Marsh missing because of the birth of his 3rd child, Sean Marsh.
I think he's the most important player for the Renegades. If they want to do well as a batting unit, it's very important that him and Aaron Finch can bat consistently and score those runs at the top of the order. If they don't get runs, it's very hard for their young middle order.
Siddle bowls to Finch down the leg side, not taken cleanly by Alex Carey. Wide is signalled by umpire David Taylor. The score goes to 7 for no wicket in the second over. Just to emphasise, I mean, Sean Marsh, 247 runs in 7 matches in this season's Big Bash, strike rate of 137, and the next highest run scorer, Sam Harper, with 140, so he's got 100 runs more than anybody else in this season's competition. Finch drives, thick inside edge, he's out towards deep square leg. Renshaw is there, through for a single, 8 for no wicket in the second over. It's always fascinating watching a struggling side though. See how they can try to drag their way back into form Look at their body language. Gives you an idea of their confidence when things start to go against them. Harvey 3, Finch 4. It's almost their last chance, really. They have to start winning now. Siddle bowls, driven by Harvey into the onside towards short mid-wicket. And it was one of those crowd catches. They thought that was out, but it wasn't. Harvey remains on 3. It's a dot ball. 8 for no wicket, Renegades after 2 overs. 2 tight overs so far. They've not been able to get away. Siddle team 5.
Yeah, and also when you're chasing a total of 177, if you don't get going from the very first over, the net required run rate keeps going up every over. Already is close to that 9 per over from here for the next 18 overs, which is never easy. And given the batting of Renegades, which is not in very good form, especially the middle order, a lot of inexperience there, a lot of youth as well.
Conway bowls to Finch. Finch drags this into the onside. Good tumbling save by Gibson at mid-on. Keeps it down to a single. Good fielding. That got past him. That probably would have headed out to the long-off boundary for 4 runs in the first 4 of the innings. So didn't have a boundary in the first 13 balls. This is the power play.
But at the moment, looking at Aaron Finch, you see him bat the way he's batting. You feel like the only boundary option he thinks he has is by stepping down the track. He's hardly hit many boundaries staying in the crease.
Conway bowls to Harvey. Harvey gives himself some room and hits this through the offside for 4. There it is, the first boundary. Pierced the ring on the offside. Hits it out towards the Adelaide strikers' dugout. Nicely played by Harvey. Hit it too hard.
A wonderful shot again, opening that right leg, giving himself that room to throw his hand through that offside area. Was a good length delivery, but good head position. Didn't try and hit it hard, just timed it.
Conway bowls to Harvey, nudges it into the leg side, straight to short mid-wicket, picks up the ball and throws the stumps the non-strikers end. Finch is back. That would really put a top on it for Finch of late. We run out there. Got back and the throw missed the stumps. Mackenzie Harvey, the nephew of Ian, Uncle Ian, former Australia. Well, he's a very good white ball player, Ian Harvey. Has a bag of tricks with the ball and can smack it with the bat. Very successful for Gloucestershire over the years. Harvey tries to force that away into the offside. Again, the throw comes in at the non-striker's end. And this time the ball hits the stumps, but Harvey is home. I don't think there's a great deal of excitement about a run out there. Weatherall with the throw. Let's have a quick look at this again. Close as well as they're just a bit of hesitation to start with the run. No, he was well past the stumps. It was fine.
That was an easy single at the end. It looked a bit dangerous for a moment, but then it made it pretty easy, both of them. No hesitation between them. And Ian Harvey, I played a lot of cricket against him and with him in the ICL. Was a very good cricketer, a very good all-rounder. On his day, he could win a game single-handedly.
Finch waits, Conway bowls, so it's down the leg sides, off the pad. It's gone down fine. This is going down towards the boundary before something's. I think it's off the pad, although the ball went very quickly down towards that fine leg boundary. Conway losing his line there, off the hip of Finch, away for 4 leg byes.
Could have been a bit of inside edge as well. We just got to wait and see if it's off the bat or off the thigh pad. No, it's up the thigh pad.
Yeah, Finch stays on 5. 18 for no wicket. Last ball of the 3rd. Finch comes down the pitch and across his stumps and manoeuvres that backward square on the onside to chase around the boundary for the fielder, who knocks it back inside the rope. And they come back for 3 runs, the lesser spotted 3. Finch keeps the bowling as well at the end of the over. Finch 8, Harvey 8. 21 for no wicket after 3 overs. That was a better over for the Renegades. In all, 13 off it.
Yeah, 13. 1 because of that leg bye. Conway is somebody who looks like Harry Conway, that who just wants to run and just put the ball in that spot. Doesn't try too many things, doesn't try too many variations. Sometimes it could be a very good thing as a bowler that you keep a clarity of your thoughts, not trying to do anything extravagant, just sticking to your basics. Works most of the time, and that's exactly what's happening for Conway here. And Agar, where's Agar? He's been very good. The highest wicket taker for the strikers in this year's competition with 14 wickets.
Yep, here he goes, that high stepping run of his, moves in, bowls, again, just like Conway in the previous over, loses his line, it's down the leg side, it's flicked off something, it's gone before, I can tell you that, down towards the fine leg boundary.
It seems like another leg bar here.
Yeah.
Aaron Finch is not using his bat a lot when the ball is on the onside, on the leg stump, but still managing to pick up boundaries. That's exactly what they need, Renegades. They need a lot of boundaries here if they want to chase this mammoth total of 177. Aaron Finch not trying anything extravagant, giving himself a little bit of time tonight.
25 for no wicket, start of the fourth. Finch on strike, tries to swing this away, or nearly plays the ball onto his stumps there, comes off his body. He don't get through for a single. I mean, Finch looks awful at the moment, he's no form at all. Somehow or other they're managing to piece together something of an opening stand. 8 leg byes where Finch has been batting, 8 runs off 12 balls.
You look at him and you think that he looks like somebody who's trying really hard. He's losing his shape when he's trying to play the shots. He's just looking to hit the ball really, really hard. On that occasion, we're very fortunate that the ball didn't ricochet onto the stumps after hitting his body. Just didn't get anything on that. Aaron Finch got a bit surprised as well with that quick bouncer.
Agar goes in and bowls to Finch outside the off stump. Finch guides it away nicely down towards wide third man. They're off for one. They're coming back for the second. Throws on its way right over the bails. Nice throw, but Finch had judged it well. That was better timing for Finch. Allowed the ball to come to him, opened the face, ran it away. Takes him to 10. The Renegades to 27 for no wicket in the fourth over, needing 178 to win.
Yeah, Aaron Finch has played so much cricket over the years. He's an experienced cricketer. He should just give himself a bit more time, not try and get under the pressure of scoring runs too quickly.
Agar bowls to Finch. Finch heaves it away into the leg side. That was a good shot. Short arm jab of a stroke. Very well timed. Sometimes you play one shot, you time it perfectly, and you think, right, it's all clicking again. Let's see. Finch to 14, 31 for no wicket.
Absolutely, and how often have we seen that with players where they're struggling, they look like they're struggling throughout the innings, and then they get hit one nice boundary, and after that it seems like everything has worked, everything starts coming along, and that's the moments Aaron Finch needs to wait for as well. It will come, he just needs to be a bit more patient. That was a lovely shot, picked it off the length, just a bit of a wrist work there as well.
Agar bowls to him, bowls to Finch, he's struck on the pad, shout for LBW, oh, he's got him. It was a full storm. Shake of the head from Finch, and a few words as well. And he rips his gloves off and walks off. Whether he's frustrated with himself or whether he's frustrated with the umpire remains to be seen. We'll have a look at the umpire, and then he thrashes his bat into his pad. Now, has he got an inside edge on that? I mean, his reaction suggests he did. Seeing the replay now, not obvious from the replay. Perhaps he thought it was going over the top or down the leg side. Perhaps he's just angry with himself, I don't know. Anyway, he's on his way.
Yeah, it looks like he was very frustrated because of the angle of the delivery and where the ball hit the pad. He hit the flap of the pad, and also the ball was seemed like it was just still going up. Again, throwing his bat, not happy, very frustrated with himself. Hardly got going in this year's BBL. Again, out for 14 of 15 deliveries. It never looked like that he's set out there. He always looked a bit rusty there, Aaron Finch as well. But now we're getting another look into that delivery. His bat hit the pad, and probably that's the reason he was frustrated, because he thought that the bat hit the ball and there was too noise. But we still got to see whether the ball was missing or hitting the stumps. It was clearly missing. Probably that's the reason he was even more frustrated.
No, his umpire's call.
Just clipping, yes.
Yeah, it was a tight one. I mean, he got himself into, you're right, Abhishek, he got himself into a tangle by hitting his top of his pad with his bat. He thought he hit it. I don't think he did hit it, and the umpire gave him out, and it's umpire's call, so I mean, that's fair enough, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Harper drives into the offside, his first ball, and he's creamed that beautifully through the offside before. Fabulous shot from Sam Harper. So Finch, perhaps just the pressure telling there. He feels the pressure of a failing side, but he's whacked his top of his pad with his bat. Pad flat with his bat. Perhaps, as you say, Abhishek, that's what he thought he made contact with the ball. I'm not sure he did. Okay, it was a marginal one. It was for height. It was flicking the top of the middle leg stump. It was umpire's call.
If we look at that delivery with a bare arm, you would give that out every time because it looked pretty plumb.
Yeah, it did look a good shout. I agree.
Getting himself into a tangle, getting too far across the ball, trying to play it through the mid-wicket region with a cross bat. It looked pretty out if you're the umpire, and probably the right decision made as well. He's just a bit frustrated with himself. He just not scoring enough runs in this year's competition. It doesn't look like he's in good form. He's struggling to time anything out there, and it could be very frustrating.
Well, only he knows. Here's Renshaw, goes in now and bowls outside the off stump to Harper. Harper cuts it towards deep cover, and they're through for a single. Only he knows whether that reaction was because he was angry with himself or angry with the umpire. And when he goes back and sees the replay, he's got no justification for being angry with the umpire.
Absolutely not. It felt like that for a moment he thought that he hit the ball, and that's why he was so annoyed with the decision. But I'm sure he'll calm down once he sees it on the television outside.
Renshaw bowls to Harper. Harper plays that into the onside for a single. Well, you must have played with lots of players over the years in all sorts of forms of cricket who come steaming off and saying, "Oh, that was never out," whatever. But of course, with all the technology now, it's hard to escape it, isn't it?
I know Finchy for a long time. The first time I ever saw him was in 2010.
Renshaw bowls to Harvey. Harvey dabs into the offside for a single. 38 for 1 in the 5th.
So he came in as a youngster for the Rajasthan Royals, and no one has ever heard of him. We didn't know who he was, and he hasn't played any cricket, even first class, if I'm not sure, 10 years back for in Australia. And Shane Warne got him there.
Renshaw round the wicket to Harper, the right-hander. Harper nudges it for another run to deep mid-wicket. 39 for 1 in the 5th.
And I remember clearly he just played one match, the very last game against the KKR, but during the net practice and practice games, he would hit the ball miles. He had that ability to hit the ball miles. And then from then on, he's now the Australian captain.
Renshaw to Harvey. Harvey plays that away into the offside, stopped in the covers, no run.
And also same with Chris Lynn. I saw him in 2011 with Deccan Chargers. Nobody knew who Chris Lynn was, but he could smash the ball a long way.
Renshaw goes in to complete the over to Harvey, who goes over the top, out towards the extra cover boundary and 4. Very well played, manufactured shot, lifting it away into the offside. Rather ruins Renshaw's over. 4 singles off the first 5 balls until then, but ultimately 8 runs off the over. And so we've had 5 overs. It's 43 for 1, the Melbourne Renegades. They need 83 for 1 point, and then 178 for a further 3 points. Not the worst start from them, and they've made worse starts than this, and they've battered poorly generally in this competition, so they're still in the game. And more from you, Abhishek, and then Stefan Schemmelt for the next 5 overs.
They would be quite happy with the start after 5 overs with 43, losing just 1 wicket. They've had worse starts in this year's competition, but it's very important how Harvey and Harper bats. Harvey played a good hand when they played each other last time. He got 34, but they need a lot more if they want to get close to that 177 tonight.
Danny Briggs into the attack with his left arm spin, number 14 for the Strikers. Harper down the track, clips through mid-wicket. We'll take a single. Renegades move on to 44 for 1. We've been keeping an eye on the England warm-up match out in Hambantota as they prepare for the first Test match against Sri Lanka in Galle next week. Earlier on, a team captained by Joe Root totalled 184 for 2 from 50 overs. Briggs is round the wicket to Harvey and bowls him. Harvey was trying to give himself some room, trying to play through the offside. Completely missed it. I don't know if Danny Briggs just held that one back slightly, but it went underneath the bottom edge of Mackenzie Harvey's bat and took the top of the middle stump. So the Melbourne Renegades lose their 2nd wicket in pursuit of the Adelaide Strikers, 177 for 7. The Renegades are 44 for 2, 2 deliveries into the 6th over.
Again, nothing short really from Mackenzie Harvey, taking his right leg way outside the leg stump, and literally opening the whole stump, all 3 stumps to the bowler, and then getting completely done. Just couldn't get the bat onto the ball. 14 again, got it start, but couldn't capitalize on it. 2 wickets down for the Renegades, 44 on board. A big wicket. He was somebody who's looked like he's hitting the ball well, in a bit of a form as well after the 34 he got against the Strikers in the previous match. But now with Aaron Finch and McKenzie back in the hut, again it looks difficult for the Renegades to chase this big total down.
Called it a nothing shot, Abhishek. Almost a shot indicative of the Renegades campaign. Pretty insipid, pretty weak.
Yeah.
The new batsman is Mohammad Nabi, the Afghanistan all-rounder. Bit of a promotion up the order for him. We talked about how the Renegades batting is depleted. Facing his first ball now, Nabi plays into the offside, just finds the gap pass point for a single. The Renegades move on to 45 for 2. Just to finish on that point about the England warm-up game out in Hambantota, team route 184 for 2. A team led by Joss Butler were 31 for 4. Men to go. Dom Sibley for 1, Johnny Bairstow for 5, Briggs bowls to Harper, who's down the track, playing up towards long on for a single, 46 for 2. Joss Butler first ball, so that was 2 wickets and 2 balls for James Anderson. Then Sam Curran for 10, that was a second wicket for the seam bowler Ollie Robinson. So a team led by Joss Butler, 31 for 4. Nabi down the track, powerfully past extra cover, they'll take one, they'll come back for a second, they'll have to be quick, but the throw from deep extra cover isn't particularly powerful. Renegades move on to 48 for 2. You can see clips from that England warm-up game on the Test Match Special Twitter page. The pitch they're playing on has a slightly green tinge. Briggs round the wicket, Nabi clubbing blow down the ground, there'll be work for long on to do. Making big strides, tries to flick the ball back but can't, only succeeds in flipping the ball over the boundary. It's Ryan Gibson down there who can't complete the fielding. 4 to Mohammad Nabi to complete the 6th over. The Renegades are 52 for 2 in pursuit of the Adelaide Strikers, 177 for 7. And yeah, that pitch that England are playing on in their warm-up game in Hambantota, slightly green tinge. You wonder if that will be the sort of surface they face when they get to play the first Test match in Gaul next week.
No doubt that, with Sri Lanka keeping it green against England, with Jimmy Anderson being there. I think it'll be fairly a subcontinent kind of a wicket, a bit slow, low. The ball will get a bit of turn as well. We've got to wait and see. But it's very unlikely that it's going to give a green pitch against England. It's different.
Speaking of turn, when you're 52 for 2, chasing 178, bottom of the league, 7 consecutive defeats, perhaps the last man you want to see coming into the attack is the world's #1 T20 bowler, leg spinner Rashid Khan. Slip in place for the right-handed Harper, who goes back onto his stumps. Can't push the ball past the bowler. Rashid Khan begins with a dot ball.
That's giving it a bit of a chat as well. Rashid Khan always talking to the batsman, probably the best spinner of the decade as well, which has been announced.
Down the track comes Harper towards Rashid, driving past the dive of extra cover. There's work for the deep point fielder to do, that's Matt Renshaw. They come back for a couple. Renegades 54 for 2. Rashid Khan, in the blue of the Adelaide Strikers, normally a fan of a collared boot. He's gone traditional tonight with the white boots. Harper in the Renegades red, taps his bat as an edge just past slip. It's Ryan Gibson there. The edge looped good 5 or 10 yards to his right, and Gibson couldn't get across. Rashid Khan already making things happen.
Harper had no idea where that ball was turning, completely opening himself up, getting an outside edge just away from the slip fielder, but a very good delivery.
It may have actually turned so much that it didn't take the edge, but actually came off the gloves of wicketkeeper Carey. Here's Rashid again. Harper down the track. Seems to have more success coming down the track to Rashid than he does staying in his crease. Clipped to mid-wicket, 2 more taken, 56 for 2. The bash boost target for a point for the Renegades, and let's face it, they'll take anything they can get, is 83. We're just seeing a replay of the delivery that ripped past Harper's edge. I don't think he got anything on that at all. This time he defends with a big lunge, almost like a club tail ender, getting bat and pad together. There's one delivery of Rashid Khan's first over remaining. He's conceded 4 runs. big stare at Sam Harper, who's looking back at him po-faced.
A lot of eye contact between these two. They both wouldn't budge. They kept looking at each other for a long time.
Bounds in Rashid Khan, and again Harper's down the track. This time for a single up to long on. End of the 7th over. The Renegades 57 for 2. Harper 13, Nabi 7. Target for victory 178. Target for the bash boost is 83, so they need 26 from 3 overs. There's been some needle between these two teams, Abhishek. Earlier on this week when they played on Tuesday, it was Kane Richardson versus Matt Renshaw. Now it's Rashid Khan versus Sam Harper.
Yep. You always get these small battles, the small matchups in cricket. It's always fun to watch. A bit of a stare, a bit of a word exchange between players. I remember a very funny incident, I'll tell you in a bit. Again, we're looking at that replay of that ball. It was a terrific delivery from Rashid Khan. So once I was batting and Tino Best was bowling, and Rohan Gavaskar, son of great Sunil Gavaskar, was at the other end. And Tino Best was bowling at around 145, 150. And I played a shot and I went up to him and I said something, and Rohan ran to me straight away and said, "What are you doing? I'm going to face the next delivery here." Why are you winding him up? Just keep your mouth shut and just look away.
Tino Best. He's a man who can get riled up. Harry Conway is going to bowl the next over. Tall figure, number 13. Harper gets down to scoop over his left shoulder. That'll skip away for 4. He's got that very fine over where a leg slip would normally have been. Renegades move on to 61 for 2. Clever, brave stroke by Harper. He's on 17 off 12.
Yeah, that was a wonderful shot. He picked the length pretty early. He wanted to play that scoop shot, but it's very important when you're playing that scoop shot that you stay in line with the ball. You don't go too far out. And he kept his eye on the ball as well. Very steady head and watched the ball all the way into the bat. Lovely shot by Harper. Great technique.
Conway stomps in towards Harper, who pulls a short ball powerfully out towards the deep mid-wicket fielder. 1 taken. The Renegades are 62 for 2 after 7.2, chasing 178. If you didn't know that the Renegades had such an appalling record, bottom of the table with 7 consecutive defeats, you'd say this is bubbling up to be a wonderful contest. But we know they can fall in a heap. They've been bowled out for 60, 80, 89 and 111 so far this season.
It's all about 1 wicket for them, because the middle order is with so much inexperience that you lose 1 wicket here.
Conway runs towards the sunset. Nabi slashes towards deep point. There's work for third man to do. Ashton Agar comes around. They take a couple. Renegades move on to 64 for 2. They need 19 runs from 15 deliveries for the bash boost points. Feels like night has fallen in Adelaide, but you can just see at the far end, the one end that is open, 3 sides of the ground are enclosed, but the end towards which Harry Conway is bowling, there's the famous grass bank, and beyond that the sun is just setting through the trees. It's a lovely scene. Conway's casting shadow 4 ways from the floodlights. It's a full delivery that Nabi inside edges to fine leg, short fine leg. Conway's got his hand covering his mouth because Nabi could have so easily chopped that onto his stumps. As it is, it's a dot ball, 64 for 2.
Yeah, lucky there. Mohammad Nabi tried to again go over that mid-off fielder. Tried to pick up another boundary, but just getting the bottom edge. Lucky that the ball didn't ricochet on the stumps, as you mentioned. And going to the short fine leg fielder. Still a dot delivery, Conway.
Conway kicks up his heels towards Nabi. This is short and wide outside the off stump. Nabi flat bats it towards deep cover for 4. Brilliantly picking the gap wide of the offside sweeper. It's the shortish boundary as we've spoken about throughout the match. The sweeper was trying to get round, and the man from inside the ring was also running backwards, but neither was in the race with the ball. So the Renegades pick up another boundary. They move on to 68 for 2. Nabi has 13 from 6 deliveries.
Yeah, that was a wonderful shot again. Though there was a lot of room outside the off stump for him to throw his hands, they still needed to time it to play the ball in the gap. There was a deep cover, the mid-off and cover fielder inside the 30-yard circle. So anything there, he's eyeing a boundary.
Conway to complete the over to Naby, swing and a miss. Naby was aiming somewhere towards mid-wicket, trying to launch the ball into the stand. Delivery was actually outside the off stump and Naby got nothing on it, through to the wicket-keeper. End of the over, 11 runs from it, 8 gone. The Melbourne Renegades are 68 for 2. They need another 15 runs from 12 balls to pick up the Bash boost points. That is their first target. Remember, they're bottom of the table, only 1 win from 8 games. Adelaide Strikers, 4th place, 4 wins from their 8. Live commentary of the Big Bash League, BBC Radio 5 Live Sports Extra, the BBC Sport website, the BBC Sounds app. I'm Stefan Shemmelt, alongside Abhishek Junjunwala. And Rashid Khan, the leg spinner, starts a new over, and Harper goes. He was pushing at a delivery outside the off stump, and he's caught at slip. Rashid Khan, the world's #1 T20 bowler, he strikes again. It looked like a leg break that Harper just followed, and the strikers on the attack, keeping that slip in place. It was a simple catch to Ryan Gibson. Harper reaching for it, and the battle that was waged between the two players in the previous over is won by Rashid Khan. Harper goes for 18, the Renegades are 68 for 3.
Yeah, again, Harper looking like somebody who had no idea what Rashid Khan was trying. He was just guessing. He was playing a guessing game out there. There was a googly. He just throwed his bat to that particular delivery, playing it way outside his body. Was never in control, Harper. That's why Rashid Khan is such a dangerous bowler to bat against, because if you can't pick him, if you don't know what he's trying to do, you'll always get into trouble, and that's exactly what happened with Harper there. And yet another wicket for Rashid Khan. Harper out, comes Jack Prestwich.
Is this a promotion in search of the Bash boost points, Abhishek? Rashid Khan is into Prestwich, who's immediately turning into the onside, taking a single, 69 for 2. He can bat Prestwich. Made 33 earlier on against the Scorchers this season. We normally would have expected maybe Jake Fraser-McGurk or Bo Webster in at number 5.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if a batsman can't pick Rashid Khan, very unlikely that an all-rounder who bats down the order will pick him. I would rather send a batsman.
Rashid Khan into Naby, Afghanistan versus Afghanistan. Naby cuts towards deep points, single taken, 70 for 3 is the score. The Renegades need 13 more runs from 9 balls for the Bash boost points.
Well, probably Mohammad Nabi is the only player in the world who would have any idea about Rashid Khan, what he's doing.
Rashid bounds in, Prestwich completely beaten, swing and a miss into the gloves of Alex Carey. That looked like a googly.
Yeah, that was a googly, and his googlies always are so much quicker than the leg spinner, and always finds that extra bit of bounce as well because of his quick hand action, the way he releases it. The ball lands on the seam a lot of times as well. Such a terrific bowler.
Bowls again to Prestwich, who pulls straight down the ground up towards long on for 4. Well, the long on fielder, it's a big old boundary out there. Phil Salt is the man. And you'd think that he would have had plenty of time to get round to his left to cut that one off, but Prestwich has hit it powerfully so that it trickled into the rope. Renegades move on to 74 for 3. They need 9 for the Bash boost points.
Yeah, they kept the mid on very wide.
Rashid Khan bowls, that's a leg break that rips past the outside edge to complete the over. Rashid Khan's having a word with Jack Prestwich. He gives him a nod as if to say, how dare you club me for 4. At the end of the 9th over, the Renegades are 74 for 3. Rashid Khan conceded 6 runs from that over and took the wicket of Sam Harper. And this, for me, the games I've seen were actually potentially one of the most intriguing 10th overs that I've experienced. 9 required for the Renegades to pick up the Bash boost point, and this is the sort of thing, one of the reasons that the Bash boost was brought into this competition, Abhishek Junjunwala, to create this sort of intrigue midway through an innings.
Yeah, absolutely. As we discussed, there's something for the chasing side to fight for. At least if they know that it's very difficult to chase the total, they can at least try and get a point out of the game, because otherwise there'd be none. So it definitely brings something new to the table, something for the players to think about, something for the coaches to think about as well. And that's why we see there's a massive discussion going on, because the strikers know how important this 1 point can be for them going forward. That's why this right field is being set. They don't want to give those 9 runs in this over. Wes Agar is going to bowl this over, the 10th over. And it's going to be a very, very interesting competition here, because if they can manage to get 9 or 10 runs, they need 10, isn't it? 9.
Here comes Wes Agar. That's down the leg side. That should be called wide. And it is 75 for 3, the Renegades. 9 from 6 becomes 8 from 6. The strikers, trying to defend 9 runs, had called upon their most successful bowler, Wes Agar. 15 wickets so far in this year's BBL. Level at the top of the charts with Tanveer Sangha and Mark Steketee. Straight away he concedes a wide and makes the Renegades' task just that little bit easier. Comes again Agar. Big figure, dark hair, number 21, in it towards Nabi. Full ball, Nabi swinging towards the leg side. There's an appeal for LBW. Umpire not interested. The ball runs to short, fine leg. And they take a leg by. The Renegades 76 for 1. They need 7 more from 5 deliveries. Like I say, a game within a game. The overall target is 178. But the immediate target is 7 runs from 5 balls. And Jack Prestwich will be on strike. He's got 5 from 4.
Absolutely. And there's a clear intent from the Renegades to try and get that patch boost point, to get that 1 point at least, and then reassess and think about the bigger picture.
Agar tiptoes in, bowls to Prestwich, who pulls aerially out towards deep mid-wicket for 6. It was a wonderful shot from Prestwich, picking up the length of Wes Agar, too short, and he strong-armed that over the deep mid-wicket boundary, even though there was a couple of fielders out there. The Renegades move on to 82 for 3. They now only need 1 more run for the bash boost points. They're almost home and hosed.
Yeah, that was a brilliant shot again. It was a bit of a shot of length, but then to be able to pull that ball on the front foot and to get that much power to hit it over the mid-wicket fielder takes something special.
Agar bowls again. It's short once more, but this time Prestwich trying to lean back to guide the ball. So maybe third man or just behind point gets nothing on it. Dot ball. Renegades need 1 from 3. I think I'm right in saying that if the bash boost scores are level after 10 overs, both teams get half a point.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They both get half a point. There's again a twist there. So with 3 deliveries to go, you would expect Renegade to get at least 1 run, if not more.
Agar runs toward the pink sky, the setting sun, bowls to Prestwich. They're going to get through for 1 something. I don't know if it's a leg by or Prestwich has got a bit of glove or something on that. Doesn't matter, because the Renegades have moved to 83 for 2. They receive the bash boost point with 2 balls to spare, and when you're bottom of the league, starting the night 8 points adrift of the rest, that 1 point is incredibly precious.
Oh, absolutely. I think any point for the Renegades is very precious. And it also gives them a lot of confidence that halfway mark they are ahead of the strikers as well, with 7 wickets in hand, with Nabi looking set on 14 and Prestwich doing a wonderful job for the team. There might be a real chance.
Agar to Nabi, that's down the leg side. Nabi moved across his stumps, but it's still called wide. Wes Agar has a little shunter to himself. Not going well for one of the competition's leading wicket takers. He's been called to the attack to prevent the Renegades achieving the bash boost point. Well, he hasn't been able to do that. The Renegades, having got the point, their new target now is 178. They're 84 for 3 with 2 deliveries of the 10th over remaining. Agar creeps in. There's another appeal against Nabi, trying to clip a full delivery off his toes. I think that's missing leg stump by some distance. They run through for another, I think that's a leg by. I doubt Nabi got any bat on that. Scores 84 for 3.
Yeah, again, very optimistic about that appeal here. Wes Agar clearly going down the leg stump by quite a distance. Nabi didn't get any bat, probably another leg by. Oh no, he did manage to get a bat. So there was an inside edge. He's been given runs off the bat, but didn't look like he got a bat.
Agar to complete the over. Huge figure with dark hair into Prestwich, who Very carefully pushes this one into the offside, just to the right of point. Single taken. Melbourne Renegades chasing 178 for victory, are 86 for 3. Mackenzie Harvey 14, Aaron Finch 14, Sam Harper 18, the men to go. Mohamed Nabi has 14 and Jack Prestwich has 11. 86 for 3, the Renegades. Abhishek, just before you take a break, we could be in for some finish here.
Yeah, absolutely, and it all depends. Again, we have seen that with the Renegades. The issue is they lose one wicket here and they could just crumble very quickly, but it all depends on the partnership, how well Nabi and Westridge bat. They still have a couple of batsmen after these two as well, but I think they do need a partnership of at least 30 or 40 runs here and give that platform to the rest of the guys who are coming in later to give themselves a real chance here.
Thanks, Abhishek. It's live commentary of the Big Bash League on BBC Radio 5 Live Sports Extra, the BBC Sport website and the BBC Sounds app. Adelaide Strikers versus Melbourne Renegades from the Adelaide Oval. Tomorrow at this time, you can hear the Perth Scorchers versus Sydney Thunder. Before that, tonight, continuing coverage on Sports Extra of the third test between Australia and India in Sydney. If you want to catch up on a fascinating interview with Jack Leach, head to BBC Sounds. It was on the Inside Track programme on 5 Live last night. My name is Stefan Schemmelt and Simon Mann is here to take it.
And you mentioned Jack Leach. He's playing in that warm-up match in Hambantota, and he's bowled an absolute pearler of a delivery to get rid of Ben Folkes in that game between Team Root and Team Butler. It's one of those classic left arm round the wicket dismissals, pitching on about sort of middle and leg and hitting the top of off. Folkes sort of groping forward and was bowled. So score 37 for 5. You see Josh Butler was cleaned up by Jimmy Anderson for naught, and he also got Bairstow as well. And the Team Root effort was significantly better. They finished on 184 for 2 with Root 74 not out, as you mentioned earlier, and Lawrence making 46. Lawrence, of course, he's been playing in the Big Bash, played a few games, and then had to return so he could go out with the England party. Prestwich is on 12, and that worked. The elevation of Prestwich has worked for the Melbourne Renegades. Danny Briggs is going to bowl the 11th over. It's 86 for 3. The target is 178. So they're in the game, the Renegades, but in the last 10 overs they still need a lot of runs to win this match. 92 off the last 10 overs. The first ball of Briggs' over is turned into the onside by Nabi for Prestwich, rather, for a single. Prestwich goes to 13. Nabi's there on 15. And the Renegades 87 for 3. Start of the 11th over. Danny Briggs with his left armers from round the wicket goes in now, bowls to Nabi. Nabi lifts this back over the bowler's head, out towards the straight long off boundary, and Siddle can't get round. He's fielding it wide long off. He's running to his right hand side. Very well played by Nabi, manoeuvring the ball over the bowler's head, timing it nicely. 4 more runs to the total. Renegades up to 91 for 3. They're giving themselves a chance, which is more than they've done in a lot of their games so far, not least on this ground on Tuesday when they were bowled out for 111, chasing 172. Briggs bowls to Nabi. Nabi gets a full ball, which he drives up towards the straight long on boundary this time. This is going out before as well. Salt can't get round. The two fielders long on, long off, are quite wide, and Nabi's manipulated that superbly. He's hit one straight on the offside over the bowler's head and one along the ground straight. Timed it really well and picked up successive boundaries. It's too early to say the Renegades are on course here because they're so capable of falling in a heap. They're right in this, 95 for 3 in the 11th over, with some home matches to come as well. Here's Briggs bowling. Now he gives himself some room. It's this straight to extra cover. There is no run. He picked out the fielder there on the offside. The only fielder saving one in front of square on the offside. Briggs goes in, bowls to Nabi, and that one grips, and there's the appeal for LBW. Isn't it quite right? High, possibly outside leg stump. Turned away from the right-hander. Given not out by umpire Darren Close. 95 for 3. Briggs goes in to complete the over. Bowls to Nabi. Nabi knocked it into the onside. Briggs is across very quickly to pick up, and there's no run. 11 overs have gone. Briggs has bowled 2 overs, 1 for 18. Nabi has 23, Prestwich has 13. And the Renegades, having secured 1 point, are in search of 3 more. They need 178 to get those 3 points at the end of the 11th.
And your overseas players, particularly when they're depleted, without the likes of Sean Marsh, Riley Rousseau, Imran Tahir's pulled out for personal reasons. When you're looking at experience and overseas players, Mohamed Nabi is both of those. Bit of a Renegade stalwart. The fans there call him the president, but he hasn't had the best of seasons so far. Only 78 runs and 4 wickets in 6 games. Maybe tonight he's standing up, 23 from 15.
Highest score of 33 in the season competition. Prestwich is on strike. The throw comes at the non-striker's end as they pinch a single towards short fine leg. Prestwich did well there to make his ground. He goes to 14. So there's 82 to win. 53 balls. 7 wickets in hand. There's the Rashid Khan factor as well. He's bowled 2 overs so far, 1 for 11. So there's that to put into the equation.
And 2 overs of power surge to take.
Yeah, mind you, that can cost you wickets, can't it? I mean, that's the other side of it. 96 for 3. Start of the 12th over. Mohamed Nabi, man on strike. Siddle goes in to bowl to him. Forced away by Nabi out towards the extra cover boundaries. A dive on the ropes, unsuccessful. That's got away for 4 as well. So Nabi really finding his range of late. He muscled that away, plenty of bottom hand, an up and over shot, over extra cover. And that short square boundary, to time it pretty well. Get it initially wide of the fielder. It's not easy to stop the ball going to the boundary. So 4 more runs. That's 3 fours. And Nabi's last 5 balls on the boundary this time. You see, it could well be actually deep mid wicket. It was very full. There were 2 men on the deep mid wicket boundary, and Nabi found the gap perfectly. He really has found his range. 31 from 17 balls. An up and over shot over extra cover, and then Siddle bowling very full on middle leg. It was almost Yorker length. It was very well manipulated away by Nabi. Gives him 4 more runs.
2 good shots from Nabi, but the problem from Siddle is it's 2 sides of the wicket.
104 for 3. 12th over. Siddle bowls. Slower ball outside the off stump. This is going to be 4 as well. Slicing shot, thick edge, and it races away. Siddle's got a big smile on his face. I'm sure he'll be that happy with what he's seen in this over. He's gone 1-4-4-4, and Kerry's coming behind the stumps to have a chat with his bowler.
Siddle might feel hard done by there because it was short and wide outside the off stump, but Nabi's thick edge almost had the short third man fielder interested in the catch. He's all over the place at the minute, Siddle, with both line and length.
It's Phil with Siddle. He's often got a smile on his face, but sometimes it's the smile of an assassin rather than someone who's friendly. Short and wide outside the off stump. That might well have been a wide if Nabi hadn't gone after it, but he's got the force with him at the moment, Nabi, so he went after it and it's straight to extra cover. And there was no run. Siddle's been doing some television presentation around the Big Bash in Australia as well, so he's perhaps seeing the game from sort of both sides. Reasonably philosophical as well, coming towards the end of his career. He bowls there on Midland leg, very full, clipped away down towards the boundary, brilliantly stopped on the rope by Renshaw away to his right hand side, otherwise that would have been another 4. Nabi's timing it well, but this over from Siddle, as you say, it's been all over the place really. Nabi able to make the most of it. Comes to an end, and the Renegades are continuing to threaten victory here. They're 108 for 3, and we've had 12 overs, 110 for 3 I should say, after 12 overs, with Mohamed Nabi playing his best innings of this season's Big Bash so far.
Surely now's the time to take the power surge, isn't it? Try and build on the momentum you've just earned. Don't leave it until you've lost one of these set batsmen.
Here's Rashid Khan into the attack. A big shout for LBW. but that didn't look right. Turning down the leg side, the googly, hitting Prestwich on the pad. Got the slip back in. 110 for 3, start of the 13th over. They haven't taken the power surge. I'm still fascinated by the idea of taking the 19th and 20th over. Here is Rashid Khan bowling another googly, another shout for LBW, another not-out decision given by umpire Darren Close. Just keep playing as you normally would, and then with the field up and nothing to lose in the last couple of overs, really difficult for the bowling side. A real dart. 110 for 3 in the 13th. You can do it in lots of different ways, of course. 68 to win from 46 balls. Rashid Khan goes in, strikes him on the pad again. Another shout for LBW, and this time he's given him out. Finger raised, Prestwich on his way for 14. Rashid Khan's got his second wicket, but he kept on asking, and eventually he got the decision in his favour. And the previous two, it did look to be missing. There were googlies that were missing. That one looked a bit straighter. The umpire thought about it. Let's have another look at it. Well, I don't know. Seeing that, might have beaten the leg stump, you know.
That to me, Simon, looks a bit club cricket. If we ask 3 times, we'll get one. The googly, you could see Prestwich's middle stump when the ball hit him on the pad. I was wondering if that was heading down the leg side, but the strikers have pressured the umpire into giving them a decision there. I was just thinking before Rashid struck that given the equation, 68 from 45 balls, by no means out of control for the Renegades. They almost just needed to get through Rashid Khan without sustaining substantial damages, because it was going to be wickets that would derail them, and sure enough, they've lost Prestwich. But I'd like to see some technology on that one, because I think that was heading down the leg side.
My punt on that, I'm going to go for shaving leg stump and umpire's call. It was no better than that. Anyway, he sent him on his way. Like you, I'm interested to see the technology. Right, Fraser McGurk is in at number 6. His first ball, he pushes into the offside and he's off the mark and straight away. It's the Rashid Khan factor again. He's not given runs away, and he's always good for a wicket or two, it seems. 2 for 12 in his third over. It's 111 for 4 in the 13th. 178 the target. Rashid bowls. Nabi has a bit of a heave at that one. Gets a thick inside edge and goes rolling out towards deep mid-wicket. Wells comes in and sends in the return. And they are through for a single. Nabi to 38. And the Renegades need 66 more from 43 balls. Last ball of Rashid Khan's third over coming up. Fraser McGurk on strike. He's down the pitch, playing very confidently into the onside, clipping this out towards deep mid-wicket. Wells in action again, sends in the return to a single. That is the end of the over. 113 for 4 after 13 overs. That's the state of it. 178 to win. 178 for 3 points. 3 more points for the Melbourne Renegades, who've taken 1 point from the game so far. What are we seeing on that technology? Missing. It is missing. Yep.
By a decent distance as well.
Yeah. It did look marginal, I have to say. A hunch might have was, well, as I said, it was umpire's call, shaving leg stump, but that was at best, and it was missing according to the technology. Well, anybody who's played club cricket will have seen those situations happen many times. Here's Briggs. Shouldn't happen at this level though, really. Briggs bowls and Fraser McGurk plays it down towards long on, and they're through for a single. So this game bubbling up nicely. Game Abhishek Jujunwala is back alongside me for the conclusion of the match. 114 for 4, start of the 14th over, 178 to win. Nabi on 38. He's played well. Here's Briggs, goes into Bolton. It's full outside the off stump. Thrashed away for 4. They've got a man on the cover boundary, but he's more an extra cover than cover. And Nabi hit it away to his left-hand side. And he's dealing in boundaries here, and he's giving his side a chance. He's up to 42. Very well played. Open the face. Full-blooded drive. Briggs goes in now. Bowls to Nabi. That's full. Nabi plenty of bottom hand, clips that away into the onside. Up towards long on. Salt is there. Sent in the return on the banks to Carey. 119 for 4, midway to the 14th over.
It does look very good today, Nabi, giving himself and his team a great opportunity for here to win the game. And it's very important he stays till the end if they want to give themselves any chance.
Briggs to Fraser McGurk, who thrashes his way into the onside and plonks him over the rope for 6. Well, it's been a really confident start by Fraser McGurk. He's on to 9 from 4 balls. And down the pitch against Briggs, bang! Over long on, and he played Rashid Khan pretty well in the previous over as well. The couple of balls he played against him, played very confidently. Jack Fraser McGurk, who's only 18 years of age, Australia under-19 player. Confidence of the teenager.
Yeah, it's all about that. It's with the youth, the way they play nowadays with no fear.
Fraser McGurk this time drives into the offside towards extra cover, and there's no run. It's out the fielder.
What I like about him is the way he came out there and showing real intent from the very first delivery. It's all about that. It's just about going out there and showcasing what you can.
He's done a first-class half century, and he's into double figures now because he's turned that one into the onside up towards long on.
And a lot of
126 for 4 at the end of 14 overs.
Sorry, there's a lot of times when you're young, you've got a clarity of thoughts. You're not thinking too much. You're just going out there and trying to express what you can, and sometimes it works wonderfully for you, and hope that works for him. He's just an 18-year-old, very young to this international kind of a tournament where he's playing with the top of the top from the industry, and that's a great opportunity for somebody like him. If he can play a decent hand for his side here, get them close to a win, that'll give him a lot of confidence. He'll grow a lot as a player, he'll mature as a player as well. So it's a great opportunity for him, and he's got somebody who's played at this level for a very long time, Nabi, who's been there, who's done that on multiple occasions. He can definitely have a chat with him as well and try and keep him grounded, not try and get himself ahead of the game as well. So it's a great opportunity, and he's doing very, very well at the moment, Fraser McGurk.
I see in Cricket Monthly's Cricket Monthly magazine, he was one of the 20 cricketers for the 2020s. 126 for 4. Let's have a look at some of the others. Shubman Gill is Siddle beginning a new over, bowls to Fraser McGurk, who drives that way into the offside towards extra cover. There is no run, he's picked out the fielder there. Tom Banton, Noor Ahmed, who's playing in this game. Naseem Shah, Pakistan bowler. Josh Philippi, playing in the Big Bash. Rachin Ravindra, the New Zealand cricketer. Kartik Tyagi, saw him in the IPL. Akbar Ali, Bangladesh. Here's Siddle bowling. Fraser McGurk tries to force that into the onside, hits it straight to mid-on.
I think Tom Banton and Shubman Gill will be my top 2 picks.
Ollie Pope is in there as well.
But I'm talking about T20 cricket. I would definitely go with Tom Banton.
Okay. Ibrahim Zadran of Afghanistan, he's a batsman. Gerald Kutsia, who's a South African quick bowler. And Yashavi Jaiswal, Indian batsman. 126 for 4. Fraser McGurk struggling to get some momentum in this over. Does get a single that time towards mid-wicket. Takes him to 11, but that's .1 from Siddle in this over.
Yeah, it's exciting to see so many young, good players coming off the ranks, and there's so much to look forward to as a cricket lover. There's so much excitement with these players, and some of them will probably go out there and become some modern-day greats as well. They've got a lot of potential, so you just got to wait and see who can dominate world cricket going forward.
Yeah, Afghanistan have got lots of good young players.
Yeah.
Kais is another one who's in there. Haider Ali of Pakistan. Jaden Seals, West Indies quick bowler. And Ramullah Gurbaz, Afghanistan keeper batsman. Some of the top young players in the world. Here's Siddle going in to bowl to Nabi Banksa. Nabi gets out the way of it. Again, Siddle's got a smile on his face. Insidious smile, really. It's the smile of an assassin who's just about to finish you off.
The smile and the smirk. He's not going to bowl anything full to Nabi after the previous over where he got hit for 3 boundaries. Just clearly showing his intent, making a statement there. Siddle, I'm not going to let you plant that foot and hit me through the line. If you want to play a shot, you've got to pull me. over square leg or deep mid wicket.
127 for 4. It's good over from Siddle. Bowls very full to Nabi. Digs it out into the onside. Salt goes to his right, picks up. Keeps it down to a single. So that's 2 of the first 5 balls of the 15th over. It's 50 to win from 31 balls. Has the makings of a tight finish. There's an exciting finish.
I think this game is heading to a very good finish here with 50 needed of 31 deliveries, with Nabi on 44, Fraser McGurk looking good on 11. We've got a game in hand here.
Siddle, last ball of his over, bowls to Fraser McGurk, who drives powerfully back to the bowler, and I don't think Siddle's going to be smiling now because that's crunched into his hand, wincing in agony. I'm not sure it was a return catch or that was a bit hard. I think it smacked him on that left wrist really hard. Oh, he's in agony. Whether that just wear off, sometimes you get a blow that wears off, but it's also possible that could be a break. He's really hit that hard, and it was a return catch, and he put his hand down, but it hit him on the wrist rather than right in the palm of the hand. Sometimes they stick in the palm.
Absolutely, and there's a bony area there, and if it had hit the bone the way he smashed it, it could be bad news for Peter Siddle here. That was smashed really hard, and you can see Peter Siddle in so much pain, agony there. As you mentioned, sometimes it can wear off, because if it didn't hit the bone, it can wear off. But at the moment, looking at the pictures, he looks in trouble here. Peter Siddle looks in a lot of pain.
Yeah, the physio's out. It's the end of the over. It's 128 for 4. It's a very good over. So 2 runs conceded. He's bowled 3. Whether he's going to have to go off here, difficult to tell at the moment. He's bowled 3 overs for 22. I think they'd like him to continue with 5 overs left. But it's one of those that it could easily be a break. He might be staying out there, in which case that's good news. Nabi 44, Fraser McGurk, who smacked it back on it at him, is there on 11. Well, he's Australian, he's staying out there.
Yeah, he's a tough cookie. He's not going to go out just because he got a little bit of blow here, staying in for the 4th over.
It's not his bowling hand either, is it?
Absolutely not. So probably he's definitely going to bowl the 4th over. Doesn't look like there's a break. He looks okay at the moment, looking at Peter Siddle. Yes, there will be a little bit of pain, maybe a bit of icing, maybe a bit of a magic spray. That will do the job for now. And maybe once he goes out after the game, he can get it treated properly and have a look in. But at the moment, it's going to be Agar. It's going to be Wes Agar who'll be bowling this over. 50 of 5, 1 big over, 15-20, and the game's in your pocket.
Yeah. Right, Stefan Shemot, it's all yours for the last 5 overs. 50 to win.
Been an intriguing Big Bash, but maybe the thing it's been missing is a number of tight finishes. Well, that's what we might have this evening. Melbourne Renegades, 7 defeats on the bounce. They need 50 from 30 deliveries to beat the Adelaide Strikers in the beautiful Adelaide evening. An orange and pink sky, floodlights beating down, wonderful arena. And here comes Wes Agar, bowling to Mohamed Nabi. Yorker that Nabi has somehow got between his legs, almost the nutmeg. Inside edge. They get back for a couple because the short fine leg fielder can't collect it cleanly. Good work actually really by Harry Conway at short fine leg. He may have actually saved a boundary. In the end they come back for a couple, and the Renegades move on to 130 for 4. They need 48 more from 29 balls. Nabi 46 from 26.
Yeah, another couple of yards from Harry Conway, and it could have been another boundary here for Nabi. He's looking dangerous tonight. 46 of 26, timed the ball beautifully, found the gap with perfection.
Waits for Conway again. That's angled in towards the pads. It's hit the pad, trickled past the stumps. That could have so easily deflected and bowled Nabi as he gave himself some room. In the end, they get through for a leg bye. Score moves on to 131 for 4. They need 47 from 28.
Yeah, as you mentioned, very easily could have gone on to hit the stumps. The wicketkeeper went on the leg side as well. Still get a single here. Nabi, not with the bat, but very lucky to still be there. 46 of 27, Nabi. Fraser McGurk, he's looking pretty good. 11 of 10. He's hit a wonderful 6 so far in this innings.
Agar comes round the wicket to the right-handed McGurk, who scoops over his shoulder for 6. Wonderful shot over the wicket-keeper's head. It's carried all the way, 137 for 4, the Renegades. We're in power surge conditions. I didn't see the signal come from the umpire, but the fielders are all up, so there's no third man or fine leg back on the boundary. So Fraser McGurk knows if he gets decent contact on that, it's a pretty safe shot. 41 from 27 required.
Yeah, again a great shot. He picked the length very early. He knew exactly what the bowler was trying to do. Weisega went around the stumps to him, trying to tuck him up. Trying not to give him any room, but he just lapped him over the keeper for a 6.
This time Fraser McGurk slashing high into the sky. Siddle drops the catch. He was running back from mid-off towards extra cover, deep extra cover. Remember, Siddle's got that injured hand and he's still holding it now.
Yeah, there was an opportunity there, but Peter Siddle, because of that injured hand, just couldn't hold on to it. Again, trying for that big shot over that extra cover region here, McGurk, but Peter Siddle should have taken a catch. If he's on the field, he needs to take those catches. Yes, he's a bit injured, but great opportunity missed.
139 for 4, 39 from 26. 2 deliveries of power surge remaining. Inside edge off a low full toss into Fraser McGurk's own knee. Dot ball. 39 needed from 25. That was completely behind the play there with the power surge. 1 delivery of power surge conditions remaining. And like you say, Abhishek, if Siddle's going to remain on the field, it's okay saying he can still bowl because his bowling hand's not damaged, but dropping a catch like that because he's got an injured left hand could be just as damaging to the Adelaide strikers. Last ball of the power surge coming up. Renegades 139 for 4. Agar bowls to Fraser McGurk, who's chipping down the ground. Again, it's Peter Siddle in the action at mid-off, but the ball trickles up to him. Single taken. That means 12 runs off the over. The Renegades are 140 for 4. They need 38 runs from 24 deliveries to win this game.
Yeah, and you can sense that Peter Siddle only stayed inside the field just to bowl his over. He's quickly ran to bowl this over and probably going to go out after he's finished his spell. But if he was on the field, he should have taken that catch. That was a great opportunity because he's looking pretty dangerous here, McGurk. He's hit some lovely shots so far.
Abhishek, if you've got an injured hand, surely mid-off is not the best place to stand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why isn't he at short fine leg or short third man?
And also, if he's got an on-field injury, he could have easily gone out and came next over and just bowled and went out again. The umpire wouldn't have said no to that.
Fielding restrictions relaxed. Here comes Rashid Khan, 2 for 14 from his 3 overs. Fraser McGurk down the track, playing towards mid-wicket with a flourish. Almost flamingo, Kevin Peterson style. Single taken. Renegades 141 for 4. They need 37 from 23.
Yeah, this is a very important over here. If they can pick, if he can pick up another wicket here of Nabi or Fraser McGurk, that's going to put a lot of pressure on the Renegades. So it's very important that as a batting unit, they decide even if they get 6 is fine.
Rashid Khan hurries in. Nabi heaves this into the onside, into the night sky. It's coming down now for 6 into the stand. Nabi goes to 50 from 28 deliveries. The overseas player is standing up for the Renegades tonight. He has 52 from 28. The Renegades are 147 for 4, chasing 178 for victory.
That's a terrific shot. He picked the googly early. If anybody in the world, I mentioned it earlier, can pick him up is Nabi, because they've been playing cricket for a decade together, day in, day out. He knew exactly what Rashid Khan was trying to do. He's played him so much that probably he can pick him up even in his sleep here, Nabi.
31 from 22. Nabi again goes after Rashid Khan but gets nothing on it. Swing and a miss outside the off stump. Rashid Khan blows out his cheeks as he knows he was close to bowling his Afghanistan teammates.
No word exchange with him though. He's not giving him anything at the moment, Nabi, and them keeping it quiet.
Scores dead level after 16 and a half overs. Nabi angles this one to point for a single. 147 for 4 rather, the Renegades. I mentioned after 16 and a half the strikers were also 147 for 4. 30 required from 20 for the men in red to record their first win in 8 games. Fraser McGurk pulls one from outside the off stump, doesn't time it. There's no fielder saving one in front of square on the onside, so Rashid Khan has to scurry off and do his own fielding. 1 taken, 149 for 4, 1 delivery of the 17th over remaining.
And suddenly the wind whiz is completely taken a turn. The Renegades are a hot favourite, 64% chance of them winning now.
Last ball of the over, Rashid Khan, Nabi on the back foot, angling, opening the face, out towards deep point for another single. The Renegades are 150 for 4. They need 28 from 18 balls. Nabi 54. Fraser McGurk has 22. And if the Renegades weren't bottom of the table, you'd make them favourites, wouldn't you, Abhishek?
Well, absolutely. With 6 wickets in hand, they should definitely win it. With 2 set batsmen, Nabi batting wonderfully, and so is the youngster. And when they've got 10 of Rashid Khan's over, it's like a bonus. All they need to do now is just get 1 boundary and just rotate the strike. It should be an easy win for the Renegades if they don't do anything silly.
The Renegades no longer have to worry about Rashid Khan. His 4 overs completed, 2 for 24. Excellent as usual. It's almost newsworthy if he's not excellent, Rashid Khan. Live commentary of the Big Bash League on Sports Extra, the BBC Sport website and the BBC Sounds app. You've just heard the voice of Abhishek Junjunwala. My name is Stefan Shevels. The Melbourne Renegades, the bottom club, need 28 from 3 overs to beat Adelaide strikers. Wonderful scene in Adelaide. Night sky, the floodlights, crowd in. Excellent finish as Danny Briggs bowls to Mohamed Nabi, who somehow gets a full Yorker length delivery out to deep square leg for a single. 27 from 17 is the equation, 151 for 4 the Renegades.
Yeah, again, going for that big shot here, Nabi still managing to get a single. Fraser McGurk, a great opportunity for him to play a good hand for his side, win the game for his team.
Briggs, left arm round. Fraser McGurk goes for the reverse sweep to a full toss, gets nothing. It also goes through the legs of wicket-keeper Alex Carey and deflects to short fine leg for a bye. 152 for 4. Interesting that Briggs is bowling this over the left arm spinner. He didn't need to. The strikers had an over each of Agar, Siddle and Conway remaining, the 3 pace bowlers. Briggs bowls, Nabi hits the ball back towards Briggs, almost a chance, but I think this is going to be 4 straight down the ground. No, the long off fielder gets around to cut it off. Just 2 taken. Score moves on to 154 for 4. 24 from 15 required. That was powerfully struck back towards Nabi. Briggs dropped him, in fact, diving to his right. It was about chest height, just in front of the umpire. Briggs could only get a fingertip, and the chance goes begging. Nabi, 57 from 33, waits for Briggs. Nabi this time jams down on a full delivery out towards deep mid-wicket, long onish region. Single taken, 155 for 4, 23 from 14 required. And just to pick up on that point, the strikers did have an over each of Conway, Siddle and Agar remaining, so either one of those won't complete their set or Siddle is injured and can't continue. Fraser McGurk comes down the track to Briggs. Briggs fires it wide, sees him coming. Fraser McGurk jams down on it to avoid being stumped. Dot ball, you can hear the applause from the Adelaide crowd applauding the dot ball. They know how crucial that is. Last ball of the over, full toss. Fraser McGurk swings it down the ground. Couple of bounces up towards long off. They run well. Nabi gets back to the striker's end for a couple. That huge straight boundary allows them to complete 2. So the Renegades are 157 for 4 with 2 overs remaining. They need 21 from 12 balls. Mohamed Nabi 58 from 34. Jake Fraser McGurk, the 18-year-old, has 24 from 19. The Renegades need 21 runs to win. Peter Siddle is still out there because he's in conversation with captain Alex Carey.
Absolutely. I think Carey took a massive risk by bringing in the spinner in the 18th over. Luckily it worked for him. Danny Briggs bowled a very good over, though he's been a bit expensive tonight. Went for 37 of his 4 overs, nearly 10 and over. To give him the 18th over was a massive risk. And now probably we'll see Siddle bowl the 19th over, the most experienced bowler in the strikers side, but this is the most important over for the Renegades as well. They need at least 10. They don't want to leave too many in the last over. They need at least 10 in this over, and if they can get anything more, I think they'll be very happy. 21 of the last over with 6 wickets in hand. You would expect Renegades to pull things off here.
Danny Briggs only conceded 7 from the 18th over. He ends with figures of 1 for 37 from his 4 overs. And it's Peter Siddle to bowl the 19th, injured left hand and all. Doesn't affect his bowling hand though. 157 for 4, the Renegades. They need 21 from 12 balls. Siddle bowls to Nabi, full, almost Yorker length, but Nabi can get it out towards long on. Just a single, 158 for 4, and the Strikers fans are applauding anything that doesn't go to the boundary.
Yeah, they don't want any boundaries here, but I would keep a close eye on Fraser McGurk with that lap shot. If the fine leg is inside the 30-yard circle, he's definitely going to try and get a boundary with that shot. So it's going to be interesting to see what length Siddle bowls. Does he look to go outside that off stump, go for those wide Yorkers? Rashid Khan running towards Peter Siddle, having a quiet word, making sure they don't give any boundaries here.
20 from 11 required. Just seen a close-up of the left hand of Peter Siddle. You can see how swollen it is. He bowls now to Fraser McGurk. There is the lap shot that Abhishek was talking about. It's just over short, fine leg. The awkward figure of Henry Conway is running back towards the boundary. He's made a complete hash of the slide and retrieval of the ball, allowing the Renegades to get back for 3. You hear the oohs and ahs from the crowd. Peter Siddle, the bowler's got his hands on his hips, face like thunder, shaking his head. At the end of all that, the Renegades are 161 for 4. They need another 17 runs from 10 deliveries.
Yeah. Harry Conway did make an absolute mess of that. Could have given a single there, but managed to end up giving 3 runs, which could be very crucial. Brings back the Nabi on strike, who's in terrific form tonight. 59 of 35 deliveries.
Siddle, bleach blonde hair in the Adelaide blue, balls to Nabi, dot ball, Yorker length or just short of Yorker length, hit back towards the bowler. Peter Siddle fields in his right hand, his only good hand. Listen to the cheer of the Adelaide crowd for that dot ball.
Yeah, Nabi not happy at all, frustrated, just hitting the bat onto his pads, looks angry with himself that he couldn't get that ball away, at least for a single. Very good Yorker. You can sense that he's not going to bowl. It might be a quick bouncer here just to surprise him.
Siddle bowls, 17 off 9 required. Nabi, low full toss, hits it for 4 down the ground. Couple of bounces, straight of long on. Siddle looking for the Yorker, gets it wrong, low full toss, and Nabi, going deep in his crease, was able to get under it and hit the ball down the ground for a valuable boundary for the Renegades. They are 165 for 4. They need 13 runs from 8 deliveries.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised how wide the mere long on fielder was. It was very, very wide, a lot towards that cow corner region.
Siddle hustles in, that familiar approach. Nabi, inside out over extra cover for 6. That's an extraordinary shot from Mohamed Nabi. Peter Siddle again looking for the Yorker, and he's again missed it. Just short of a length, and Nabi going deep in his crease, turned it into a half volley. He's on 69 from 38. The Renegades are 171 for 4. They now need only 7 runs from as many deliveries to end a run of 7 straight defeats.
Yeah, that's an extraordinary shot, as you mentioned. That's an unbelievable shot. Just opening the left leg, trying again, going for that Yorker and playing it over cover to generate that sort of a power in that shot. Never easy, but Nabi looked in total control tonight. From the moment he walked in, he was determined to play a good knock for his side, and that's exactly what he has done.
7 off 7, Siddle bowls to Nabi, hit down the ground again, just past the outstretched hand of the bowler. They take 1, they're coming back for a second, they shouldn't make it, but they do. Brilliant running from Jake Fraser McGurk, pretty weak throw from the long off fielder. And that's a brilliant 19th over from the Melbourne Renegades. They take 16 runs from it. They're 173 for 4. They'll need 5 off the last over. Mohamed Nabi has 71. Fraser McGurk has 27 from 20. Peter Siddle, the veteran, he's absolutely furious. From the penultimate delivery that was hit for 6, he had his hands on his head. He looked back at Mohamed Nabi. Lip reading tells us he shouted something that cannot be broadcast, as if he was blaming Nabi for hitting him for 6. At the end of that, Siddle's conceded 38 runs from his 4 overs. The Renegades need 5 from the last over. They're on the brink of ending this 7-game losing streak.
It had to end sometimes. So it's good that it's ending tonight for them. Renegades, you've got to give a lot of credit to them. First, when they pulled things back quite nicely in the last 3 or 4 overs. They managed to keep the strikers within a total which is gettable, around 177. It could have easily been in 200 if they didn't bowl. They didn't pick up those last 3 or 4 wickets at a very short time. And then when they came out to bat, they had the right intent, and the players put their hands up and took responsibility, especially the overseas Nabi. 71 of 39, did a wonderful job, didn't bowl much tonight, but when it came to batting, he played a brilliant knock. And the young Fraser McGurk, he's played a very good hand as well, exact at the right time when they needed it. They needed a partnership, they needed somebody to stay with Nabi, and Fraser McGurk did that.
Wes Agar to bowl the last over, 5 to win. Yorker in at leg stump. Fraser McGurk jams it out towards long on and takes a single. It's Phil Salt down there who's quickly off the boundary to prevent the second run. Renegades 174 for 4, need 4 from 5. Remember, earlier on it was Wes Agar, who is joint top wicket taker in the Big Bash with 15 wickets, was required to defend 10 from the 10th over to prevent the Renegades getting the Bash boost point. He failed to do so, and he's got a stiffer task here. Renegades need 4 from 5. Agar, dark hair, his short sleeve blue Adelaide shirt is riding up his biceps. Mohammed Nabi in the Renegades red just pauses, takes a look around the field. Third man goes out of the ring towards the boundary. Agar's got a white towel in the back of his blue trousers, running in on his tiptoes, bowls to Nabi, dot ball, short. Nabi swings and misses. I think he might have been expecting something full when third man went back. Instead, Agar banged it in. Nabi swing and a miss. Cheer from the home crowd.
Yeah, it was well bowled, very well bowled delivery. Just surprised Nabi with that bouncer here, Agar. Nabi didn't expect it, as you mentioned, probably with the third man and a fine leg back, he would have expected something a little bit fuller. This contest is getting very interesting. 4 of 4 here for the Renegades to chase. Nabi on strike, Agar bowling his third delivery of the final over of the innings. It's all getting very interesting. A lot of chopping and changing in the field as well. The deep mid wicket comes inside the 30-yard circle. The long on goes back.
4 from 4, Renegades 1 hit away. Nabi on 71. Agar bowls down the leg side, hit the pad, I think. They're running through for a leg by, and Fraser McGurk makes it. If that hadn't have flicked the pad, I think that'd have been called wide. Instead, it did deflect off Mohammed Nabi's front leg, and Alex Carey, the wicketkeeper, dived to make a brilliant stop, because that would have been at least 2 runs. Instead, Fraser McGurk at the non-striker's end was quickly through. 3 from 3. Remember, if the scores are tied, we go to a super over.
Yeah, all the possibilities are there. The super over is on the cards here.
18-year-old Fraser McGurk on strike. 3 runs required. Wes Agar bowls to him. Fraser McGurk again, it's hit the pad. Alex Carey can't stop it this time. They'll want a second. Harry Conway comes in off the boundary and they get through for 2. Well, Harry Conway, the fine leg fielder, came running in, then he was tiptoeing like a man trying to walk on a frozen lake. No fluency from the pickup. The Renegades get back for a couple of leg byes. They're 177 for 4. The scores are level. They need 1 run to end a run of 7 straight defeats.
Yeah, they need 1 run. They don't want to mess this up here. Oh, he didn't plant his foot. He didn't plant his bat. That was very, very strange.
That's incredible. Fraser McGurk put his foot in rather than his bat. When the bails were taken, 1 foot was in. If they delayed that just for a second, taking the bails off, both feet would have been in the air. Anyway, 2 leg byes taken. Renegades need 1 from 2. Jake Fraser McGurk on strike. Wes Agar bowls now. It's a full toss. It's clipped to fine leg. The Renegades finally end a 7-match losing run. They have overhauled the Adelaide Strikers 177. They win by 6 wickets with 1 delivery to spare. Finally, the Melbourne Renegades have a Big Bash victory against the name.
Absolutely, and a bit of a smile all around the Renegades camp. The captain's happy, Aaron Finch, so is the sports staff. It's been a long time since they won a game. 7-match streak, losing streak. Never easy to keep coming back every day and trying to win a game after you keep losing so many games. But you've got to give a lot of credit the way they played today, the way they pulled things back first when they were bowling and then they batted brilliantly. A lot of credit needs to be given to Nabi, the way he held the innings together and stayed there till the very end, made sure that the team wins the game, and was a wonderful knock at the end and a very good innings from the young cricketer as well. He played really well for his side tonight as well.
Yeah, Jake Fraser-McGurk ends 29 not out from 23 deliveries, but let's just linger on that effort from Mohammad Nabi Abhishek. 71 not out from 41 deliveries. We talked about the Renegades in their difficult position, needing their experienced players to stand up, needing their overseas player to stand up. Nabi is both of those, and tonight, after a disappointing tournament so far from his standards, he stepped up and taken them to victory.
Oh, absolutely. We needed the Renegades needed either Aaron Finch or Mohammad Nabi to step in, and it's great to see that Mohammad Nabi, being an experienced cricketer, being their overseas cricketer, taking responsibility and playing such a wonderful knock of 71 of just 41 deliveries, 9 fours, 2 sixes in his innings. And if you talk about the strike rate, 173, they needed somebody to play an innings like that, and we've got to give a lot of credit to him. But we've got to give a lot of credit to the young Jake Fraser-McGurk as well, because they needed a partnership. When he came in and he took responsibility, he got the boundaries at the right time as well, and 29 of 23 with 2 sixes. Great knock.
Adelaide strikers earlier on, they won the bat flip and elected to bat. They posted 177 for 7. In the chase, the Melbourne Renegades, Mackenzie Harvey 14, Aaron Finch 14, Sam Harper 18 and Jack Presswidge 14. As we said, Mohammad Nabi 71 not out, Jake Fraser-McGurk 29 not out. The Renegades earned their first win in 8 matches with a ball to spare. The bowling figures: Harry Conway 3 overs, no wicket for 23. Peter Siddle 4 overs, no wicket for 38. Wes Agar 3.5 overs, 1 for 33. Matt Renshaw just the 1 over, no wicket for 8. Danny Briggs, the spinner, the left arm spinner, 4 overs, 1 wicket for 37. Rashid Khan 4 overs, 2 wickets for 24. The table, the top unaffected. Unless stated, these teams have all played 8 games. Sydney Thunder 22 points from 8, Sydney Sixers 21 from 8, Hobart Hurricanes 19 from 9. Adelaide Strikers beaten tonight, they remain on 17 points after 9 games. Brisbane Heat 16 from 8, Melbourne Stars 15 from 8, Perth Scorchers have only played 7, they have 13. Melbourne Renegades now have played 9 games. Finally they have their second win, they are up to 9 points. Abhishek, we talked earlier that the Melbourne Renegades, they haven't played any games at home in Melbourne. The Marvel Stadium's been such a key weapon for them. Their next 4 games are all in Melbourne. 3 of them are at Marvel Stadium. 1 of them is at the MCG. In those 4 games, they only play the Brisbane Heat and the Melbourne Stars. Now they've got this victory, they're still a decent way off the playoffs. They're even a decent way off the Perth Scorchers, the team directly above them in the table. But now they are going back to Melbourne with 3 home games out of their next 4. Is there any hope they can reach the playoffs, get in the top 5?
Absolutely. If they keep getting those boost points as well along with winning games, there's no reason why they can't. And that's why it's very important for them to try and take those boost points as well, not just win the games. And if they get on a winning streak from here and win the next 3 or 4 games, they will definitely give themselves an opportunity, depending on the other results, of qualification in the top 5.
Thank you, Abhishek. Tonight, you've more cricket on BBC Radio 5 Live Sports Extra. You can hear the 3rd day of the 3rd Australia v India test from Sydney. And tomorrow at this time, further Big Bash League coverage. It's the Perth Scorchers versus the Sydney Thunder. My thanks to Abhishek Junjunwala and Simon Mann. But for now, from me, Stefan Schemmelt, it's goodbye.
International fixtures, including the Six Nations, Rugby World Cup and Autumn Internationals.
The underdogs have barked loudly.
What a take though! It's taken by Gareth Davis. Gareth Davis is going to go and go and go. Interception from Gareth Davis. He's run 3/4 of the length of the field.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including Formula One.
He's about to do his first ever Formula One start. All the drivers are now lined up at the front of this Albert Park circuit. The Australian fans are all on their feet.
With full coverage of practice rounds and qualifying.
Max Verstappen then across the line to start his flying lap. The sparks fly from underneath the Red Bull in the pitch darkness of the Singapore night. Here comes Vettel, faster still.
Plus, live action and analysis from across the F1 calendar.
All 5 lights are on and the first Grand Prix of the season is go.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including cricket.
Shrubsole in now. Balls for Bolter! 6 wickets for Andy Shrubsole, England's hero. England win the World Cup.
Athletics, swimming, boxing.
Trying to get away from danger, trying to find some sanctuary somewhere in the ring.
Formula One. Golf, rugby league.
Luke Gale tries this time. Luke Gale!
Rugby union, tennis, football.
Wigan with a cross from the left. Will Grigg! Goal! It's Will Grigg to put Wigan 1-0 up in the FA Cup.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including international cricket with Test Match Special.
Listen to this noise. We're right up in the roof. Bowles, that's driven. Lovely shot from Stone. He's timed that really well.
Anderson goes in and bowls, and that is out and caught behind.
T20 and one-day internationals.
Takes a couple of strides and then pumps his arms and legs, approaches us, bowls, he's bowled him! And Zampa has gone!
Plus, the ICC Cricket World Cup and highlights and analysis from the biggest matches across the cricketing calendar.
Shrubsole in now. Balls for Bolter! 6 wickets for Andy Shrubsole, England's hero. England win the World Cup.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including rugby league with live commentary from the Super League.
Maguire with a kick, and it's Cuthbertson who's on the chase. What about that?
There's an element of anticipation, of excitement. My word, bring it on.
The Challenge Cup, NRL and Super League Super 8.
Tries this time. Luke Gale!
There's places that you go in this game, and this is unbelievable.
Plus, international rugby league.
They've got numbers outside. McGilvray with a chance, and McGilvray will score. Brilliant England move.
When they start to put it together, when they start to get in the groove, they're going to score points.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including cricket.
Shrubsole in now. Balls for Bolter! 6 wickets for Andy Shrubsole, England's hero. England win the World Cup.
Athletics, swimming, boxing.
Trying to get away from danger, trying to find some sanctuary somewhere in the ring.
Formula One. Golf, rugby league.
Luke Gale tries this time. Luke Gale!
Rugby union, tennis, football.
Wigan with a cross from the left. Will Grigg! Goal! It's Will Grigg to put Wigan 1-0 up in the FA Cup.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including tennis.
Serves, big serve.
This to take it all away.
And the screaming and the roaring and the come on, still going.
With live coverage from every Grand Slam.
Nadal celebrates another straight sets victory. First couple of rounds safely negotiated.
Serena and her elder sister Venus Williams are making the walk of champions.
Every single one of these Grand Slam wins means so much.
Plus ATP Tour finals and Davis Cup.
What an extraordinary spectacle. This does not feel like it can be happening.
Well, what a time. The longest and the most intense rally of the match.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full